Good evening, everybody. First of all, gents, ladies, if you've got jackets, ties, feel free to take not all of it off, obviously, but make yourselves comfortable. It's a very, very warm room this evening. Steve, yourself with a jacket and tie if you feel you so wish. Make yourselves comfortable up in the public gallery. It's very warm up there too. Good evening. Welcome to full council for the 15th of July. There are no planned fire drills during this meeting. If you hear the fire alarm sound, please treat it as a real emergency and evacuate the building via the nearest safe escape route. The nearest escape route is via the stairs to your left as you leave the council chamber or public gallery. Exit by the door at the back of the building and walk across the inner car park to the evacuation point, which is the pavement opposite the police station. The lifts can't be used in the event of an emergency, and please do not re-enter the building until you are advised it's safe to do so by a member of staff. I would like to advise both members and our friends in the public gallery and press that this meeting is being recorded and indeed broadcast live. Mobile phones, please switch them off unless they are being used for the meeting. Please only speak when I ask you to do so and speak clearly into the microphone. Thank you very much. So moving on straight away on the agenda, the first item is apologies, and so far received apologies from Councillor Baldry. Any others? No, that's it. Thank you. The next item is to confirm as a true record the minutes of the meeting held on the 27th of May. And I would like to propose the approval of the minutes and request a fellow member to indicate which they would second them, please. Oh, come on, someone's got to second the minutes. We don't move forward. Thank you, Councillor Adam. Thank you. Okay, all in favour, please raise. Anyone against? Any abstentions? Thank you, carry. I'll now take a couple of seconds to sign the minutes. Thank you. Thank you. Item 2 on the agenda is a declaration of interests, and any member wish to declare interests, please show. Councillor Jones-Evans.
Oh, thank you, Chair. Yes, agenda item 6B, when we're going through the outside appointments. As up until that moment, I'll still be a director of this. I'll invite to be recusing myself from that vote.
Thank you, Councillor Jones-Evans. Councillor P.C. Wilcox. Laura.
Can I just presume that we've got a blanket dispensation, as I presume we're all Southern Water customers, which means we would have a pecuniary interest in the Southern Water items. Thank you.
Very interesting question, Councillor P.C. Wilcox. I'll pass over to the MO on that.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you, Councillor P.C. Wilcox. Because no councillor is affected more than any other member in terms of receipt of water, etc., there's no sort of interest to declare. You know, you may be sort of householders receiving the service, but you get no preferred treatment than any other member of the public as regards the water supply. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Cameron. Becca.
Hi there. I previously supported a motion on no confidence in Southern Water at Freshwater Parish Council. I am a Freshwater Parish councillor. That reflected the serious concerns raised by the residents at a parish level. However, I do come to this full council item with a closed mind. I'm predisposed because I have considered evidence and heard significant concerns from my residents, but I'm not predetermined. I will listen to the debate, consider the points raised by members, and then make my decision on how to vote.
Thank you very much, Councillor Cameron. Councillor Jarman. Chris.
Ditto, I'll also keep an open mind for the proceedings today. I previously voted on this with Freshwater Parish Council as a parish councillor on parish council issues, and indeed specifically on issues related to Totland Parish Council as befalls issues related to discharges at Totland and Cornwall. I should also make a declaration. I'm also a member of the Isle of Wight German Twinning Association, which I didn't know was on the list this evening, but apparently is. And I'm not too sure whether there's something specific about Coburg, but maybe there is not. Yes, there is. So I also attended the visit officially to Coburg, which is part of the response I gathered that you're going to give this evening. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much, Councillor Jum. Thank you. Any more declarations, members? Thank you. Oh, Fuller, Paul.
Just a quick one. I have been in contact with the monitoring officer just for information concerning the planning application by Southern Water for their recycling scheme for Sandown. I asked whether there may be any comments made this evening may prejudice members of the planning committee, but Mr. Potter has reassured me and said that no, that isn't the case. So I'm very grateful for Mr. Potter's indulgence in that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Fuller. Anyone? No, thank you very much. We now move on to public question time. And the first question is from Bob Blizzard. Bob, are you up there? You know the drill, Bob. Approach the microphone, press the button. And I've got your question down here. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The Isle of Wight German Twinning Association is run by dedicated volunteers who maintain links with civic authorities and wider public in the island's German twin communities of Coburg and Ostholstein. We are an entirely self-funding organisation with no access to public funds. We organise and support visits to and from our German twin communities. Currently, 8 students from Coburg are on the island. The visit, which includes work experience, has been arranged by the Isle of Wight College with Coburg College, and we were pleased to promote the contact between the two colleges. We are thrilled that an island-wide party of scouts will be visiting Coburg in October, supported by the scout movement in Coburg. The links with Coburg date back to 1983, when the original charter between Coburg and Medina Borough Council was signed and subsequently renewed by the Isle of Wight Council following the creation of the Unitary Authority. Many valuable cultural, social, civic and commercial opportunities have resulted from the formal twinning arrangement. For a number of years, the association ran a stall at the Coburg Christmas Market where we sold island produce and promoted the island as a tourist destination. Unfortunately, this has now ceased due to the bureaucratic burden imposed as a consequence of Brexit. Doesn't it keep on giving? At the request of the council, we amended our constitution to formalise the council chair attending our meetings as a council representative. And we're grateful to Councillors Critchison and Love for their support during their terms of office, and also to Councillor Jarman and former Councillor Andre for their ongoing support. We are grateful to the Isle of Wight Council for its renewed support for twinning through taking part in reciprocal councillor visits to Coburg in 2023 and facilitating 2 German apprentices gaining work experience at County Hall in 2024. We would respectfully request ongoing support for our links with Germany by the attendance at future meetings by the current chair of the council. We appreciate that chair's role is a busy one, and if he's unable to attend, or if you're unable to attend due to other commitments, we would welcome the attendance of another member in order to allow the council to be kept informed of ongoing activities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bob. And the response is as follows. Thank you for your question and for highlighting the ongoing work of the Isle of Wight German Twinning Association. The council recognises and values the long-standing relationship between the Isle of Wight and its twin communities of Coburg and Ostholstein. Over many years, these connections have provided meaningful educational, cultural and community benefits for island residents. I would like to thank the association's volunteers for their continued commitment to maintaining these links. Recent activities involving schools, colleges, apprentices and youth organisations demonstrate the positive opportunities that twinning can create when supported by active community groups. As chair, my focus remains on supporting communities across the island, while also fostering constructive relationships both regionally and beyond. The relationship with Coburg and Ostelstein is important and appreciated, but it must be considered alongside a range of other civic, regional and international commitments. Invitations and opportunities are therefore assessed individually on their merits. My programme places particular emphasis on island-based engagement, including supporting young people, local voluntary organisations and our armed forces community. It is important that the Civic Office remains visible, accessible and focused on the needs of island residents. The Council must also be mindful of public expenditure. Any involvement in international civic visits requires careful consideration of cost, value and benefit to the island, particularly during a period of significant financial pressure. Importantly, the strength of twinning relationships extends beyond official visits and continues through schools, youth groups, voluntary organisations and direct community links. I have reviewed the correspondence regarding the association's constitution. During an administrative review of external body appointments, it was suggested that references to a council representative be updated to refer specifically to the chair. This was intended to clarify the appropriate civic contact. It was not a formal council decision, nor did create an official appointment and did not oblige the chair or future office holders to attend meetings or events. The association, of course, is welcome to continue inviting the chair to its meetings and activities. Each invitation will be considered in light of availability, relevance, public benefit and any associated costs. Where appropriate, attendance by another councillor may be explored, although this cannot be guaranteed. The association is always welcome to provide regular updates to the Civic Office so the council remains informed of its activities and can identify opportunities for appropriate engagement. The council values the historic relationship with Coburg and Ostelstein and remains grateful for the association's efforts in maintaining these friendships. We will continue to consider support where it is appropriate, affordable and aligned with the council's wider responsibilities and priorities. I hope that answers the question, Bob. The next question for this evening is a written question from Youth Council to the Chair of Children's Services, Education and Skills Committee. Have we got the Youth Council that actually wish to ask it tonight? Brilliant. Just press the button, give your name and fire away.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Naomi Hallam. I'm the Chair of the Isle of Wight Youth Council. I'm accompanied by one of our members. Tonight, the Youth Council would like to know what measurable actions is the Council taking to reduce numbers of young people aged 16 to 24 who are not in education, employment or training, otherwise known as NEET, on the Isle of Wight, and how will it monitor and report on the impact of these actions to ensure more young people can access education, employment, training and other opportunities? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question, and Councillor Ros Freeman will answer. Ros.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you for the question from the Youth Council. The Council has statutory tracking responsibilities for young people aged 16 to 17, while support for 18 to 24-year-olds is primarily monitored through the Department for Work and Pensions, the DWP, and partner organisations. What actions are being taken? Tracking and supporting 16 to 17-year-olds who are not in education, employment or training, NEET, or at risk of becoming NEET, using participation and destination data alongside information from schools, colleges and partners to identify young people who may need support to engage in education, employment or training. Working with schools through the Solent Careers Hub to coordinate careers events and employer engagement opportunities that support the Gatsby benchmarks and broaden young people's awareness of future education, training and career pathways. Delivering the annual Your Future Careers event bringing together education, training and employment providers from the Isle of Wight and the mainland to showcase the range of post-16 pathways available to young people after year 11. Publishing a regular opportunities newsletter to promote current education, training and employment opportunities available to young people. Also implementing the September guarantee to help ensure all young people receive an offer of educational training. Working with the Youth Hub and other partners to develop arrangements for a young NEET engagement programme aimed at helping young people access education, employment and training opportunities. Developing the supported internship pathway with Isle of Wight College and DFM Project Search, helping young people with special educational needs and disabilities, SEND, progress into employment. And we will ask, how will this impact be measured? For 16 to 17-year-olds, the council monitors NEET and unknown destination data. Participation in education, employment and training. September guarantee outcomes following support and engagement activities. For 18 to 24-year-olds, monitoring is primarily undertaken through DWP and Job Centre Plus data, employment and benefits information, partnership reporting on participation and employment outcomes. How will this be reported? Performance and participation data is reported to the Isle of Wight Skills and Employment Board, plus data is tracked monthly and trends are reported to managers and senior leaders. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Councillor Freeman. Have you got a supplementary question?
No, thank you, we don't. But the Youth Council is always looking for councillors to work with. So if you're willing to work with us or have any ideas on how we could help, I'd like to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for attending this evening. Greatly appreciated. Moving on to the third and final public question for this evening. It's from Councillor. Sorry. Oh, sorry, members. Crikey. It's a football. We're never going to get that far. Lucky luck. It comes down to announcements of the chair and the leader. So I will go first. Now, first of all, this is well, it's a very upsetting message. I'd like to acknowledge the passing of Andrea Sheridan from the Lord Lieutenant's office, which sits next to the chair's office, whose funeral was held yesterday. Myself and the vice chair attended, amongst many others of the civic team. Andrea was a wonderful, warm individual who worked tirelessly alongside our civic team. And when you see the royal visits taking place on the island and remembrance, it's these wonderful people that put them together, and they're absolutely seamless. And it's testament to their hard work and professionalism and resilience. So I would like to further extend my condolences, and I'm sure yours, members, to Steve, her husband, her boys, Luke and Tim, as well as her family and friends. And if anybody wishes to say a few words, you're more than welcome. Briefly.
Chair, please.
Yes, Councillor Blake.
I'd just like to, on behalf, I'm sure, myself and Councillor Price, echo those thoughts. Her husband Steve is, you may know, linked to our party. So we are desperately sorry for him and his boys, and our thoughts are with them at this difficult time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Blake. Councillor Christensen. Claire.
Little one in the corner. Sorry. Yes, thank you, Chair, for putting this opportunity to us. I worked with Andrea for several years as part of the civic team, and she was so supportive, and is a massive loss to that team, because she knew everything and was so very organised with it all, and it's a massive loss to us all. And yes, my condolences to her family.
Thank you very much, Councillor Christensen. Thank you. This is actually quite tricky now. We go for something really upsetting to something very uplifting. And so I would like to welcome representatives of Boundless Wight. These are the 4 youngsters at the back, an exceptional team participating in the Young Enterprise Programme delivered locally by Edwise. And they're here today to show off, or rather I've decided to show off, this wonderful board game that they have created, if I can get the thing open. It's Walk the Wight, the board game. Now, this is not an endorsement, by the way, but I'm just saying, all right, this is here to raise some serious do-re-mi for the hospice. The board game is a product that celebrates everything that makes the Isle of Wight special. We're encouraging people to engage with our communities and landmarks. So first of all, could I have a round of applause for these 4 individuals here? There are 8 in total, but they couldn't all make it tonight. And their achievements really have been outstanding. They progressed from winning the Isle of Wight, Hampshire and South East regional young enterprise competitions to reaching, reaching the Young Enterprise UK national final in Cardiff, where they were ranked among the top 12 student businesses in the United Kingdom. And wait for it, for more than 1,000 teams nationwide. Check that out. That's amazing. Yeah. Woo. In my years, we've never had such a happy chamber. This is a good sound. It's nice. At the national final, the team achieved the highest sales income of all finalists and received the prestigious Delta Airlines Pursuit of Opportunity Award. In addition, team member Sophie was awarded the You're Hired medal in recognition of her outstanding performance during the national competition. Sophie, just put your hands up so we can see you. It's nice and embarrassing, and you're on camera as well. So Connor, Kinga, Louis and Sophie, thank you so much for inviting the Civic Office along to the launch of the board game. Thank you for sharing that with us, and thank you for all you've done so far and what I think you're going to continue to do, flying the flag for the Isle of Wight across the world. Thanks for coming in. Thank you very much. Another round of applause. All righty. How much more uplifting can we be? Very is the answer. First of all, I'd like to thank my colleague, Councillor Barry, as the Vice Chair for attending, a number of engagements this one. The welcome service for the new Archdeacon, the Isle of Wight College Awards Day, which I understand you very much enjoyed, and Christ the King College Awards ceremony. For me, I've been to the High Sheriff's Garden Summer Party, citizenship ceremony, with these fabulous youngsters for the Boundless Wight celebration and product launch, Armed Forces flag raising, and thank you very much for everybody that attended that, by the way. That was an absolute hoof. It's the best we've ever seen. That was here at County Hall. We had the Armed Forces Week flag raising as well up at the NHS. The Peach Games, which is an amazing thing that Isle of Wight Council puts together. Ryde Mardi Gras, that was great fun. Councillor Lou Shoney was down there. I was tempted to wear that same shirt tonight, but even that's pushing my luck, I think. The Isle of Wight Scouts AGM and Awards, the Royal Isle of Wight County Show, that was very warm. Here yesterday, I was a little bit delayed because of the funeral, was the Isle of Wight Council's long service awards, which is absolutely fantastic. It's the 2nd year I've been involved in that, and it really was a great session, wasn't it? But Jonathan, to be fair, did most of the work because I was late. And then the grand opening of 6th Troop, which was in East Cowes. It was on Councillor Love's patch, and Councillor Love made a faux pas of epic proportions, challenging me to a shootout, which ended up, we don't do Starsky and Hutch rolls in the army, Carl. It was very, very graceful. It was chair versus chair, and well, raw signals, what can I say? Slick skills, quick kills. But it was a brilliant, brilliant afternoon, and it was lovely to see so many young faces engaged in a really, really set of positive activities and something that's new to the island. And I think they should be supported throughout. So that's it for me. Some of the chair stuff. I'm going to hand you over to Jonathan now for the leaders' report.
Thank you. I think you left one thing out, Chair.
Did I?
Where do we get a copy of the game?
What?
The game.
Sophie, where do we get the game from?
Excellent.
Martin Supply Link. Thank you. Thank you very much. You corporate.
Looks good. I will just mention two things in my leader announcements. The first was attendance at the LGA conference last week. Myself and the Chief Executive were there, along with a number of other councillors. A lot of interesting stuff. The one that I would like to highlight, and I apologise to Councillor Freeman, I've not had a chance to speak with her about this yet. There was an extremely good and moving presentation from a chap called Luke Rogers from the Care Leaders, which is an amazing organisation that does just incredible work to support those leaving care. And we were able to speak to him, and hopefully he is going to be able to come to the island and see what we do. He's interested, and perhaps also work with us on some projects. So that was a very positive outcome from that conference. It was also a useful networking exercise, in part because we were able to meet informally with the leaders of the other leaders of the new combined authority, which moves me to the other part of my announcements. The combined authority, Hampshire and Solent, came into being formally on June the 4th, and its first inaugural meeting took place on Monday, the 13th. I was very pleased to be elected as the vice chair of the new combined authority, and I will use that role to do my utmost to promote the island and its interests within the bounds of the combined authority. It was otherwise very much a bare bones meeting, essentially getting the bare bones in place so the thing is up and running. There will be a lot of work over the next few months to develop the constitution, how things work, which committees will be created, who staffs those, and so on. I would actually I wasn't planning on saying this, but in light of the question from the Youth Council today, I think it might be of interest to note that the substantive discussion we had at the board meeting was about support for NEETs. And it was a positive and interesting discussion. It's interesting in particular because the Isle of Wight Council is doing better than pretty much all our neighbours in this area, but it doesn't mean that there isn't a lot of work that can be done. And I would hope that the Youth Council can feed into that. Certainly there are steps to be taken, things to be learnt from the Isle of Wight, but also support to be gained. And so I think that is an initial positive thing that the combined authority is going to be working on. A couple of points were raised with me prior to the meeting, which we were able to take action on. It is fair to say we are learning. The combined authority is struggling a little, perhaps, with the fact that we are a committee system, they are a cabinet system, but we were able to deal with that in part by the appointment of the representative to the Transport Committee. That is now recognised to be the chair of our committee, will sit on the Combined Authority Committee, reflecting the system we have here. And also, slightly narrower political interest, but I think of merit to mention the proportionality system, which has attracted some comment, initially did not take account of independent members, despite the fact there are a lot on the island and a few elsewhere across the combined authority area. Representation's been made, it was discussed at the board meeting, and while it doesn't affect any appointments that have arisen so far, independent members will now, going forward, be part of the mix, and I think that's important for the island and indeed the whole area. Members may be interested to note that the meetings now being up and running, taking place roughly once a month, and they will circulate amongst the combined authority members. And you might wish to put in your diary, in November, the audit committee will be meeting on the island, and that's the 16th of November, and the board will be having its formal meeting on the island that afternoon. And also the overview and scrutiny committee of the combined authority will be meeting on the island on December the 14th. A number of questions have been asked of me about the island's representation, how things are going to work going forward. I think it's fair to say that there's a lot of meat still to be put on the bones, but I've asked the Chief Executive to arrange a formal briefing for all members about where we are, where we're going, how we're going to get there. We haven't got a date in the diary for that yet. I hope it will be before August, when people tend not to be around so much. But that is something I've asked to happen and will happen as soon as possible. And also of interest to those who are supportive of, and indeed members of town and parish councils, it is hoped that they will be able to play their role in the combined authority, and the chief executive of the combined authority has asked that we put her in touch with IWALC so that a session can be arranged whereby she can meet with IWALC members and discuss the combined authority and the relationship that it is hoped to have. And I trust also that I know we have a few town and parish councils that are not members of IWALC, but they will be invited to that session when it is arranged as well. And I think that's important, and everyone gets that opportunity. Probably gone on a bit longer than I intended, but those will be my announcements, Chair.
Thank you very much, Leader. The Chief Exec has nothing for us this evening to report. Fantastic. Oh, you do. You said you. Chief Exec.
Thank you, Chair. I know I don't normally have an announcement, but as you raised it, we did have the celebration of staff awards this week for long service with the council, and we celebrate those members of staff who have served with the council for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years and 40 years. And collectively, between those members of staff that we celebrated, there was a total of 1,735 years of service to this council in terms of the staff that were attending that awards service, which is quite a phenomenal number in itself. But in particular, and I hope you don't mind, Chair, I'm going to mention 4 members of staff, Jane Millwood, Mandy Lungley, Sonia Hiscock and Steph Rickard, who all work downstairs in the reception area, who each of them individually celebrated 40 years service with the Isle of Wight Council. And I thank you so much for giving them that applause, because I think such long service reflects far more than simple longevity. It represents their commitment, professionalism, resilience, adaptability and genuine desire to make a difference for the lives of island residents. And I felt it would be wrong not to mention that this evening. So thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Chief Exec. Very well deserved. Okay, we move on to agenda item 5, something of a novelty. I've not done one of these before, but here we go. These are the petitions. Now, councillors will have a maximum of 15 minutes to debate the matter under the approved petition scheme, which is paragraph 4.334. There shall be no right by the petitioner or councillors to amend the motion. I will ask the organiser to speak for 3 minutes, then the leader for 3 minutes, and then the floor can debate. Now, for those in the public gallery, you are more than welcome to be here, but please, this is a public meeting. It isn't a public engagement. So I do ask you to be respectful as we move forward. So the first petition is 5A on the agenda. It's the Ryde Splash Park petition. Councillor Michael Lynn, please.
I would think there is a speaker in the gallery that was presenting that, which I think is Lisa Carter.
Lisa, you're very welcome. Good to see you. Lisa, you've got 3 minutes. You just press the red button on the right-hand side there. A little clock will start running down here, okay? Whenever you're ready.
Okay, good evening, Chair, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm here on behalf of the community and on behalf of a family to ask this council to reopen the Isaac Hayward Splash Park. This park wasn't just a play facility, it was built as a memorial to Isaac Hayward, with a promise that his memory would live through a place where children could play and families could gather. For 4 years, that promise has been broken. The park has sat closed and decaying, and every year it stays shut is another year that promise goes unhonoured. This isn't a small ask from a handful of people. A petition to refurbish and reopen this splash park has passed 3,500 signatures, well beyond the 2,600 needed to bring this before full council. Every year, residents raise this on local Facebook groups, sharing memories and asking why it's still closed. This community has not stopped asking, and it deserves an answer. I'd also ask you to consider what this park represents beyond one community's affection for it. Free outdoor spaces for early years play are increasingly rare. At a time when so many family activities come with a price tag, this splash park offered something precious, a place where any child, regardless of their family circumstances, could play, be active and be outdoors. That kind of unrestricted access to play matters for young children's development, and losing it hits hardest the families who have the fewest alternatives. I know cost has been the obstacle in the past, so let me address that directly. The Ryde Neighbourhood Board currently holds funding for refurbishment projects across Ryde, and we intend to apply for support to cover the full cost of restoring this site, which is approximately £300,000. We're not asking this council to find new capital funding. We're asking for the chance to go and secure money that it already exists. Running costs are not unknown territory either. Ryde Town Council has covered these before at around £10,000 a year, a known modest figure and not a new burden. And we also have fundraising plans already in motion aimed at making the splash park self-sufficient over time. So to summarise, this park gives every child in our community free access to outdoor play. The funding for refurbishment is realistically available, and the running costs are known and have been covered before. Over 3,500 residents have said clearly that they want this, and a family is still waiting for this council to honour a promise made when this park was first built. This is a chance to show that a memorial to a child's memory means something, not just words at an opening ceremony, but a commitment that this council intends to keep. I ask you respectfully but firmly to support the reopening and refurbishment of the Isaac Hayward Splash Park. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lisa. It's lovely to see you, and thank you for speaking so eloquently. The leader now has the opportunity to reply for 3 minutes. Councillor Bacon.
Thank you, Chair. I won't take the 3 minutes. I'm very happy to see this petition here and very happy to support it. I was, when I wore a different hat many years ago, approached about this issue, and it is sad that it has taken so long to get here, but I'm very glad that it has at last, and I support and underline all that has been said by Lisa, and I'm very happy, and I hope that we all vote in favour of it, frankly.
Thank you very much, Leader. We open it up to debate from the floor for 15 minutes. Councillor Lilly. Michael.
Thank you. The splash park is in my ward of Ryde, Apley and Elmfield. Petitions are a good way of telling us what residents want, and the Isaac Hayward Splash Park petition is a good example of the people's voice. This is an opportunity for Isle of Wight Council, Ryde Town Council, who have already supported this petition, Ryde Neighbourhood Board and residents to collaboratively work together to bring back a much loved and needed facility. Ryde is a tidal beach, and when the tide is in, it is not safe for small children to play in the water, and when it is out, it is too far for little ones to get to. They need, and in the past, welcomed to be able to splash. Wouldn't it be nice to have the splash book today in this weather? And also, it's accessible and was accessible, and it would be in the future, to many families that have children with disabilities, that they can actually enjoy the water. Even though Ryde has invested into accessibility, unfortunately, it still hasn't got it near the water for very young ones. Of that. I'm going to be a grandfather shortly of 2 twins. I would like to be able to take them somewhere like this. At the moment, that's not possible. There is a need and demand for a safe, accessible water play space for residents and visitors for babies, toddlers and children with disabilities. The Isaac Hayward Splash Park was created for that purpose. It was a sad day it closed. Ryde Town Council supported the petition, hopefully you will tonight, and the two Isle of Wight Council Neighbourhood Board representatives, right, and RTC Mayor can take this petition and their support to Ryde Neighbourhood Board. And together, Ryde Town Council, Isle of Wight Council, Ryde Neighbourhood Board and residents can, as I said, can actually make this happen. We've already done this with Apley Tower, right? With all those parties, obviously not Ryde Neighbourhood Board. It's called People Power. Support this petition.
Thank you, Michael. Councillor Jones-Evans, Julie.
Thank you, Chair. I do really applaud the community coming together in this way. You know, over 3,500 signatures for the play park, which, you know, I enjoyed when my son was of an age to splash about there. So I think many of us got very, very fond memories. I guess I'm sort of querying process as such here, because as been mentioned by the petition, Lisa and Councillor Lilly, about mentioning Ryde Neighbourhood Board. I mean, the funding that Ryde Neighbourhood Board has got is exactly for this type of project. I mean, they're very lucky to have £19 million to spend in Ryde for the community. So it's great there's a funding pot that has been allocated. I'm guessing it's an Isle of Wight Council asset though, so I'm thinking, do we have to go through a disposal here for Ryde Town Council to take over? I'm not really sure. The petition does call for some resource which we don't have currently. So, for instance, it does talk about the comprehensive play needs assessment on the first one. So again, I'm thinking, where is that resource going to come from within the Isle of Wight Council? But it exists, as I see it, at Ryde Neighbourhood Board, and it's a very light touch the Isle of Wight Council has with Ryde Neighbourhood Board. We have obviously that representative on there, but the whole point of it is community driven. So I'd like to support the splash park, or a similar facility coming back to the area, back to Ryde. Is clearly a need for it. But it's how we approach that. So I'm a little bit sort of foxed, really. What's the best route to get the results quickly and not hang around for another 4 years?
Thank you, Councillor Jones-Evans. Councillor Blake, Ed.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to also put my support behind the sentiment of this petition. That's having got the paddling pool, the Isle of Wight shaped paddling pool in my ward. I know how crucial that is for local parents to sort of give somewhere that children can play in a nice safe space, and a bit of an adventurous play in there as well, which we are lacking of. But I have a question for the monitoring officer deriving from this. I mean, much along the same point as Councillor Jones-Evans. Given that this is effectively a motion created by the petition, what are we to do with this and all other petitions, given this is quite a new concept to us, moving forward? Does this create a motion that instructs officers to do things, or are we purely putting our support behind it and basically adding our names to the signatory list of the petition? So there's some clarification about what would happen, for instance, with this very petition. What happens next?
Emma, thank you, Councillor Blake.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Councillor Blake. The petition is obviously quite clear and the motion is quite clear. There are various aspects of it which have been raised this evening, and throughout this requires proper thought, consideration, due diligence to look at all the viable options. It talks about proposals being fully funded and sustainable, and members have rightly raised the issues about making sure that funding is obtained from the relevant bodies, to make sure that if members are minded to pass this particular motion, that it will proceed through the steps of due diligence, which includes obviously clearly the use of the land, what options there are, the finances, and clearly one of the things which we were mindful of is the fact that, you know, there needs to be a properly worked out business case to make sure that, you know, this is sustainable if that's one of the viable options chosen after it's been subjected to due diligence. So in short, it would come, if passed, it would go to the relevant committee and PFR, links with colleagues in terms of local government, in terms of Ryde Town Council and the Ryde Neighbour Board, which Councillor Lily's quite rightly mentioned. There's two representatives and so forth. So that's why the motion has been drafted in the manner it's been put forward by the petition organiser, to make sure particularly issues as to funding properly looked into, including the what's termed the life cycle maintenance and operational measures are in place so that it is fully sustainable for the full design life of the facility.
Yeah, can I raise a supplementary question from that, please?
Oh, you can't, Councillor Blake. I'm awfully sorry. We don't do supplementary. Members, we've only got 7 minutes of conversation on this. It's Councillor Loke next.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the petition tonight, this evening, the members, it isn't so much as a cost of your business plan. We're offering support to the petition. As councillors and members, we're saying, yes, we support this petition to take the petition forward to the relevant authorities. Province's public realm have costed the plan over a 15-year sustainable period. Sorry. Oh, and the public realm, sorry, public realm have costed this plan the best they can over a sustained 15-year period. The money, it's a lot more, unfortunately, than 300,000 to make sure that that park is maintained. However, plans have been made for that. This is a petition to say we support the reinstation of the splash park and take it forward with a cost of business plan to Ryde Neighbourhood Board to see if they approve that plan. We're not asking the council for any money today. We're not asking members for any money today. We're simply asking the council to support the plan going forward to reinstate the park, which is an important part of Ryde, and all residents want to see back in public use. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor, for me personally speaking, not as a chair, but as someone with two little girls growing up in Ryde, I can see the benefits of this. I love the terminology of viable options, fully funding, including capital delivery. This motion moves this forward. Don't quite agree with Councillor Lily in that you have to be close. No, we walk out to the sand. But what I do think is vitally important, the sooner you get little ones in water, their water confidence is installed from the outset. And we lost many years ago, if you remember, Michael, the toddler's pool from Waterside. There is nowhere else in Ryde to get that sort of confidence. The beach is very tidal, but in the summer it's great. Anyway, I'm waffling. I don't want to take any more time, but I'm fully behind this. Councillor Luciani. Lucia, Karen.
Hi. I just want to say thank you to Lisa. Obviously, when she was Ryde Town Councillor, I worked closely with her, so very supportive of this. But I'm just a little bit confused because yes, we talk about it at the Ryde Neighbourhood Board, and I'm on that. So just to give that declaration of interest. However, that's not what this petition is saying. This is not what the petition is saying. Ruben, I agree with what you're saying. This is not what this says. So we need to be very mindful of what we're actually agreeing today. Thank you.
Councillor Fuller, Paul, please.
Thank you. Many years ago, dinosaurs walked this earth, and at that time, I was a Ryde councillor. I was an Isle of Wight councillor for Ryde, and I remember going down there with Maurice Barton, and Maurice Barton, bless him, said, "You know what we need down there? We need a splash park." And he said, "I think this is one of the things that the Isle of Wight Council should be getting behind." This was back in the 1990s, so it wasn't quite when dinosaurs roamed the earth. But again, there has been this impotence, this enthusiasm, this desire to get something done for the people of Ryde. And this is going to be for the people of Ryde. So I am fully behind this proposal and this petition, and I wish it every success in the future.
Thank you, Councillor Fuller. Members, we've got 3.5 minutes or so. Councillor Price, Matthew.
Thank you, Chairman. I obviously completely support the ethos of this. We all want to see that splash park open. And I just want to compare it to something quickly. in Newport that myself and Councillor Brodie worked together on with other members that are here on the multi-use games area up on Downside. And that facility was closed for 10 years. And it was an almost impossible task with the amount of money we were told we would need to get it open. And in conjunction with colleagues on Newport and Carisbrooke Community Council, we found a resolution. We've got the mugger open. I appreciate it's not the same complexities as at Splash Park, but there was a will to do it and we found a way to get it open, and we've got it open every day for community use. The school use it in the day, the public use it in the evenings and weekends, and the system that we've got works well. But what I was getting at is that it's open really under a temporary situation while we look for further funding to refurbish it later on. So, you know, there may be more than one way of looking at this. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Price. Thank you, Matt. Councillor Llewellyn, David.
Yep, thank you, Chair. Firstly, I fully support this petition. I think it's brilliant and great. As Chair of PFR, I have to make the point, the council cannot afford any further funding or any funding whatsoever. So as long as we're supporting this petition tonight, I fully support it. If it were a motion, then I would move that we send it before the PFR committee. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Councillor Love, you have 1 and a bit minutes, unless there's any other speakers.
Thank you. I totally support this. The people have spoken in Ryde what they want. People like to see things that they can use, they can touch, and it's tactile. We don't do a great deal for young people of that particular age, and so therefore this is something that can make a real difference. Knowing that we have a splash pool of our own in East Cowes, they are affordable, they are hugely popular, and I can see no reason why we don't support this tonight.
Thank you very much, Councillor Love. There's 1 minute remaining for any other members to jump in on the conversation. Councillor
Can you
Jarman.
what you're actually agreeing to, please? That'd be really helpful for people on.
I was just going to go to Councillor Jarman. Councillor Jarman.
I fully support the ethos behind this, but I do have to look back at the question that Councillor Llewellyn has just raised, in that are we voting on to support the petition, or are we voting on a motion which allocates funding and resources? So could we have clarification on that, please? There's an important distinction.
Yes, I'll refer to the BMO on that to explain the distinction. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Councillor Llewellyn and Councillor Jarman. The procedural element is that a motion is put forward, which, as was outlined at the beginning, we can't amend it. It's in the totality of it. But to give reassurance, hopefully, to members, it is set out in the agenda sort of verbatim, but it specifically, for example, at point 4, requires that any proposals are fully funded. So by passing the motion, there isn't a financial commitment by the authority. It's part of a due diligence issue to look at the proposals, to see what funding is required and the source of that funding, and also to address issues which can often be overlooked in such matters, to make sure that things are very much sustainable for the future, so that things are, if they're going to be delivered, that they're fully supported. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Monitor Officer. Our time is up on that. Councillor Bacon, I don't believe he's going to take up his 2 minutes, but he's got 2 minutes to sum up.
Thank you. I would be repeating myself if I said much, but I think the core of this, and that might help clarify some of the last few comments, is it there in the wording, confirms its commitment to working with the local community to consider the future of the site. I think that is what we are considering. That's certainly what I feel we're considering. And as I said before, I'm very happy to support that we are confirming a commitment to working with the local community to consider the future of the site.
Thank you very much, Leader. We will now move to the vote. So all those in favour? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm off. No, hands down. I do apologise. I have to seek a mover, first of all. Councillor Lilly, thank you. Do you have a second to Councillor Lilly? Councillor Love, thank you very much. Now we can go to the vote. So all in favour, please raise. Thank you. Anybody against? And anybody, any abstentions? Thank you. That is carried. Thank you very much. Okay, members, we now move on to agenda item 5B. It's the Southern Water petition. The updated supplement is on your tables in front of you. Now, before we go any further on this one, I do need to cover off a few pointers on it. Councillors will note there are several alternative motions on notice covering this topic listed on the agenda. The motion arising from the petition in front of council requests a vote of no confidence in Southern Water. Councillors should be aware that if council approves the motion, it will negate debate on those related motions and they will be removed from the agenda as full council will have determined which action it wishes to take. Would you like me to repeat that? Yes, there's one vote. Okay. Councillors should be aware that if council approves the motion, it will negate debate on those related motions and they will be removed from the agenda as full council will have determined which action it wishes to take. Now, I offer no view on the merits of the petition or motions on notice, but felt it's very important for full council to appreciate the procedural situation. Would anybody like a couple of minutes to adjourn to revisit the supplement or we just crack on? Okay, crack on it is. Right, so the petition organiser has the opportunity to address the council, which I believe is Councillor Cameron. Becca, 3 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, councillors, I move this motion of no confidence in Southern Water. Residents instigated this petition and asked me to be their voice alongside residents from across the island. People signed because they're tired of waiting, tired of promises, and tired of seeing the same failures repeated in the waters around our island. No family should have to check a sewage act before deciding whether their children can swim in the sea. No grandparent should have to tell their grandchildren not to play on a beach because they cannot trust the water. No tourist should come here for a beach holiday to be told, check the app first. That is not good enough for an island whose identity, economy and well-being are tied to the sea. In the West Wight and around the Western Yard, this is painfully real. Residents are dealing with pollution in places they love, places they use every day, and places that should be protected. The Western Yard is sensitive and an important environment and part of the wider Solent system and the Isle of Wight UNESCO biosphere. It should not be carrying this burden. We've had meetings, we've had promises, we've had measures such as water butts, computerised overflows and larger storage at Norton, yet sewage bills have increased. Residents judge by what happens in the real world, not by what is written in a presentation. They see is the beaches closed, warnings issued, wildlife put at risk, businesses exposed and public confidence collapsing. The Norton transfer figures available to us are deeply concerning. By residents' calculations, they indicate an estimated sewage polluted discharge rising from approximately 187,000 tonnes in 2025 to approximately 366,000 tonnes already in 2026. That's double the amount of last year. That is not improvement, that is failure. Surfers Against Sewage highlighted 380 hours of dry period sewage spills both at Colwell Bay and Totland in 25. Dry period spills strip away the excuse that this is only about exceptional rainfall. They raise serious health risks to our residents, children, swimmers, paddleboarders, visitors and anyone using our beaches. They point to infrastructure and operational failure. I welcome an action plan. I welcome assurances that new development will not add pressure to the networks already beyond acceptable capacity unless the upgrades are identified, funded, scheduled and delivered first. But we've had assurances before. Without clear deadlines, open reporting and real consequences, there is no accountability. This vote is not a political theatre, it's a line in the sand. It tells residents that this council has heard them. It tells government, Ofwat and the environmental agencies and Southern Water that enough is enough. Our residents are asking members to stand with them to protect our beaches, our rivers, our wildlife, our businesses and our island. I urge members to support this motion.
Thank you very much, Councillor Cameron. Thank you very much, folks. Thank you. Becca, can you just switch off your microphone there? Okay, thank you very much.
Can I just say one more thing?
Go on,
We
got
have
to
a
move.
named vote.
Yeah, we can.
We have a named vote, please.
You're going to need 4 people for that, Councillor Cameron, but we can get to that bit before we get to it. Yeah, we can sort that out. Super. The leader now has 3 minutes. Councillor Bacon.
Thank you, Chair. I think we all absolutely recognise the levels of concern and the depth of feeling that exists on this issue. Councillor Lilly just now told us that petitions tell us what people want. I think what this petition is actually telling us people want is action and improvement, and to do something tangible. My concern is that the petition as it stands, the wording doesn't achieve that. Yes, we can declare no confidence, but as we've just heard, that will then stop us doing other things. It will stop collaboration. It will stop those actions that are being proposed in other motions. And I know I'm bringing one of those hopefully a little later. Further, I'm concerned that the wording simply asks us to call for stronger enforcement, support things, stand with residents. Frankly, I don't think that's strong enough. I think stronger actions can be supported and created if we do not rule ourselves out from doing that. And as members have seen, there are later motions bringing that forward. So I think I can speak on behalf of all members to say there is an absolute depth of feeling of this and a need to do something. But I think what we need to do is something tangible, something more than simply standing up and shouting no confidence. We can be better than that. We can actually seek positive actions. And the wording I was going to use later, I shall use now. We can hold Southern Water's feet to the fire. They've not been good enough. They're not good enough at the moment. We need to put them in a position where they can't get away with it any longer. And I think we need to give ourselves the ability to do that. And I'm afraid, while I absolutely recognise the passion behind this motion, I think we're actually stopping ourselves from doing what we could do if we accept the wording as it stands.
Chair, can I call point of order? Because you have a conflict, because you also have a motion of your own here. Were you speaking to your motion in the comments you've made, or were you speaking to this motion? But
I was speaking to this motion.
You did not declare your interests.
Thank you, Chairman. I think it's clear from the published agenda paper as to what's on the paper, and I don't see there's a conflict of interest in this matter, because it's all about moving things forward for the benefit of the public in holding Southern Water to account. There's clearly a difference in terms of the wording, which has been made clear, but I don't see there's any disqualifying conflict of interest at all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris. And I think it's very clear that Councillor Bacon is speaking on this particular item. So we shall now debate for 15 minutes. Councillor Kirkby was the first one with his hands up, and then Councillor Hayward. Next.
Thank you, Chair. Amazing 2,500 people signed the signatures, etc. But I've got to say, working for the Southern Water for 30 odd years and how they work, I don't think it goes strong enough. We need to really take them on. I don't think the wording in this motion, in the petition, is strong enough to take on what we need for the whole island. Admittedly, it's a lot of problems over at Norton, but it's also the whole island in itself. And I think we need to take it on for the whole island. And there are ways of doing it a lot stronger. If we take it up with the petition, it's going to stop us doing other ways of actually getting things done, and legally is as such. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kirkby. Councillor Hayward, Jules.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to reinforce that I think it's really important that residents have spoken clearly on this, and having that petition in place will enable us as councillors to represent the level of feeling that's held by residents. I think it's that particular point about how do we invoke action and improvement. And so in my thinking around this, and having sat in on as many meetings and done as much research as I can on it, I genuinely believe that formally declaring no confidence as a council will inhibit us actually having action and improvements with Southern Water. So although I fully support the sentiment and I support having the data of the feeling of island residents, in terms of actually creating change, I believe that we need to pursue the action plan in order to create improvements.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hayward. Councillor Rochelle, Mark.
Thank you, Chair. I think it's obvious that there is no confidence in Southern Water's current performance. I think it's also important to note that this resolution actually says we express no confidence in Southern Water's current handling of wastewater infrastructure, sewage discharge, public transparency and communication with affected Isle of Wight communities. In fact, when Lawrence Gosden, the CEO of Southern Water, came here to talk to the council, he started by apologising and saying that the performance has not been good enough. So he kind of agreed with that. It's also important to note that he did come to talk to us and he did come to listen to us. And I don't know, more experienced councillors will tell me the last time a CEO of Southern Water did that. I believe it's a long, long time ago. He's also since sent a list of commitments to the island, to all councillors and to parish councils and town councils. That's not a wishy-washy commitment of we commit to do a bit better. That's a full list with quantifiable aims and dates on there. I think that this motion, the supplement motion, gives us the chance to hold them to account on those commitments, because it says that we call for urgent and serious intervention by government, Ofwat and the Environment Agency if Southern Water fails to provide a deliverable and credible funded and time-bound improvement plan. So this motion does give us the chance. It says they've not done good enough, confidence isn't there, but it does give us the chance to hold this serious intervention over them, to force the commitments to be met and for the confidence to be restored. So I approve of this petition.
Thank you very much, Mark. Councillor Jarman, please. Chris.
Thank you, Chair. I think that for me, this is a very simple argument, and I've listened to the debate that's gone on so far. We heard the phrase earlier, people power, and that's exactly what this is about. Southern Water have known the problems on this island for a long time. Most of us here have probably known them as well, haven't we? They haven't got any better. I remember attending a meeting with senior representatives of Southern Water in 2021. They generated a similar list, similar undertakings. There have been a number of other events since. What has changed? Nothing for the good, only, as you heard from the data, the situation deteriorating, and deteriorating on an island which is reliant on the hospitality sector and the tourism trade, which requires clean seas and clean beaches. The core of this states very clearly that as a result of that, we have no confidence in Southern Water, and details what, in working with Southern Water and with the other stakeholders, they must do to reclaim our trust. And that's the gist of this. We have no confidence in them as a result of their persistent undertakings to put it right and failure to do so. And now the situation is that we are declaring that publicly in this motion, that we hold them to account with that declaration, and To state it again, we define what they have to do to reclaim our trust, which they've lost. We haven't lost anything. They have lost our trust by their negligence, their continued long-standing negligence, which is enormously detrimental to this island. Thank you, Chair. I urge you to support this motion.
Thank you, Councillor Jarman. 8.5 minutes, Councillor Fuller's next, and Councillor Lilly, and then Councillor Lucia only. Councillor Fuller.
Thank you. I have absolutely no confidence in Southern Water. I've been talking to them for years about some of the issues that we've seen in Gurnard. We've made promises and those promises have been broken time and time and time again. So absolutely, when Becca says, do we have no confidence in Southern Water? Yes, absolutely. They are rubbish. They have done a catalogue of cock-ups across the island. And, you know, from my point of view, I would be a lot happier to see something within this motion that says, well, this is what we want to see. These are promises that Southern Water is making, and we demand that you do these things. Not say, well, okay, we lack the resources at the moment. Oh, the problem is we can't mend all the leaks across the island because Ofwat haven't allowed us to raise our water bills to island residents. I look at, you know, the fisheries and the impact that our fisheries have on our chalk streams on the island and also across Hampshire, and they're not doing enough. They are absolutely not. I'd love to see more reservoirs being put in place, but again, we're told, oh, we don't want to do that because of the resource implications of that. So it's all about money. It's and that frustrates me. I would like to see something tangible, and hearing what the leader said about having another motion, yes, I would support that, and I think it is important, but I think at the moment, I don't trust Southern Water, and because I don't trust Southern Water, I can't deviate from the proposal that Becca Cameron has made, so I will be supporting the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Fuller. Quiet down, please. We've got 6.5 minutes and there's a slack handful to get through. Councillor Lilly is next. Michael.
We obviously, on this motion, and I support the petitioners in this, we obviously don't have trust within that. And I have campaigned on this issue for many, many years, and I've written a huge amount of letters to the chief executive. My ward particularly has got hit badly and has many, over the years, many discharges in Ryde of sewage in the sea. And I've actually been with parents who've had, you know, children who, you know, have been ill through that. I wrote to Lawrence Godsend saying, would you come to the island? It was me who did that. And I expected not to get a reply, right? Because I've never got a reply, but I got a reply. It might have been a little bit linked to Channel 4's programme, and Channel 4, as you know, are following what's happening on the Channel 4 News is following on that. I don't know, but he did, and we did have a communication, and he did come to the island and he talked to you. I was unfortunately unable to do that, but he did. And he has promised to come to talk to residents, right? And I will keep him to that promise. And he has actually communicated to a number of councillors, I know, with the issues in Bembridge and Side. So I haven't made my mind up which way, because I would like to actually combine all the motions together, because they're all good. We're all on the same page. And what worries me is by voting this through, we've stopped those other things coming forward.
Thank you very much, Councillor Lee. Councillor Luciani, we've got 4 minutes and 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'll go straight to the point then, so I won't repeat anything anybody else said because it's all very valid. But with the email of the commitments from the CEO, I'd like to see that coming through my my committee as part of the work plan, and ask him to come to that because we've got the scrutiny of that within it. So that's what I'll be doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Garrett Andrews next, and then Councillor Christensen.
Thank you, Chair. I've gone both directions on this. The original motion with the flat declaration of no confidence was not something I could support. I have low confidence, but I don't have no confidence. And the reason I don't have no confidence is precisely why my colleague Councillor Lilly has set out. Mr. Gosden came here, has given commitments, comprehensive commitments. This is the kind of motion we really should be looking at in maybe 6 months' time. What I think we could do to satisfy this chamber, to acknowledge our support for the petition, and the strength of feeling behind that, is if we do vote down the petition, and if we do reach Councillor Bacon's motion, that we add some further words to properly recognise the sentiment of the petition that has been before us tonight. And I think that could be a way through ensuring we debate the Leader of the Council's motion later, the comprehensive plan it sets out, and also send out, I think when somebody's down on the floor, you don't keep kicking. And I think Mr. Gosden metaphorically has been down on the floor. He has a lot to be responsible for. His organisation has a lot to be responsible for. But I think as reasonable and decent people, we should give him that chance. So I think I've finally made my mind up when the vote comes, but let's see. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Councillor Christensen, and it's Carl.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to say that I think we really should listen to the strength of feeling that the residents have come to us with this. I really appreciate the CEO coming to see us, but that is just a starting point. And I think we need to have listened to that they brought this petition to us to really bring their voices across and want us to support them as our residents and recognise that strength of feeling. You know, we've got here because of being let down so often, and I think we can only build on what the CEO has sent to us. You know, Lawrence Gosden has replied, he has come to see us, but I think just because we vote no confidence doesn't mean we can't build on that and work with him. And I don't see why it in any way stops us from taking that forward. We can still have no confidence, but want better confidence. That's what I want. I want them to see us give better confidence, but we're starting from no confidence. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Christensen. Quiet, please. We're very short on time. We've got 1.5 minutes. We've got Councillor Love and then Councillor Whelan to finish up. If we can keep it brief, gentlemen, please.
I'm sure we can manage between us. I totally agree with what you've just said. I think the fact is my community in East Cowes and Cowes has been impacted heavily by sewage discharges over many years. And despite repeatedly asking for improvements, we always get the yes, we can do better and very little action. I appreciate that things are difficult, but remember, our residents pay for a service. This is not something that we influence. Our residents pay for this service. It's their money. They have spoken and said, we want something doing, and we do not support this. I cannot support this. Sorry, I support the emotion, sorry. I mean, I support them as an organisation. It's not just about sewerage. It is about fresh water too. We've got a chronic shortage of fresh water. We've had years of discussion. I really appreciate the fact that he came here and was reasonably honest with us, although I'm disappointed it was held in private. All of that should have been in public so that people could have heard what was going on in terms of from themselves. Therefore, I shall be supporting this motion because it's time for something to change. And just because we vote for this does not mean that we cannot continue to work with them because they've already committed to work with us. We're just sending a very clear message from this island. Sorry.
That's right, please. Councillor Love, Councillor Whedon, I will give you 30 seconds, please.
Thanks, Chair. Thank you, Chair. And I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I agree with some of what Councillor Love said. That is, and what everybody else has said in this chamber. I think it's obvious what it is that we need. However, the no confidence, then what? There's no teeth to this petition, unfortunately, although it expresses the anger from the people because we all live here too. but it needs teeth, and that's why I will not be voting for this motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Come on now. We've had reason and balanced debate, and every member is entitled to vote on what they feel is right for the island and their own particular ward. And me personally, in Finstead, we have been absolutely and shockingly let down by Southern Water with their water butt provision. But I also have to balance that on how we engage them moving forward and actually putting some teeth on something where we can really, I was going to say take them to the cleaners, but I'm not going to, but I kind of have. Right, I will hand back over to the leader to sum up, please. 2 minutes, Jonathan.
Thank you, Chair. This is an interesting debate. I, again, repeat what I said at the beginning. We recognise absolutely the level of public feeling. I feel the issue with this motion is that those few words that ask for no confidence to be declared, unfortunately, give us a binary choice. It has been ruled that if we vote for this, the other motions fall. I would like it if we could combine all of them. I did make approaches to those who've written other motions about this early in the week, or indeed last week. Councillor Kirkby and I have spoken, and you will see we've offered a combined wording for later if we get to that. As I say, I think the problem is the binary choice that we're presented with. My problem, I must disagree with what Councillor Jarman said and support what Councillor Whelan said. I don't think the wording here calls for sufficient specific action. I think it's too weak. I think we risk undermining our ability to deal with these issues and deal with them in a strong way. It may feel good and necessary and right to declare no confidence, but as I can't remember who said it, but then what? Then what I would hope is what is in the other suggestions, very specific targeted action to build a body of evidence so that while we are not the regulator, we can take those issues with full evidence to the regulator in due course. And I'm afraid I don't think the wording we have on this motion gives us the power and ability to do that. And indeed, the risk seems to be that it stops us doing that. And that is my concern.
Thank you, leader. Folks, come on. This is a room of debate. It's sometimes robust, but we can all come up with our view and everybody has to represent in the way that we see fit. We require a mover for the motion, please. We require a mover, Councillor Cameron. We need someone to move the motion, please. It needs to be moved and then seconded, and then we go to the vote.
I move the motion.
Councillor Critchinson, the seconder, thank you. And we go to the vote.
Should be name vote.
If you wish for a name vote, then we need 4 members to support that. Councillor Blake, Councillor Lowther, Councillor Critchinson, Councillor Jarman. So it will be a name vote, and I'll hand over to the monitor officer who will call your name out. I believe it's in alphabetical order, isn't it, Chris? Yes, we'll go around the room. Thank you. This is a binary choice, by the way. It's a for and against vote.
Yes. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, and you can abstain. Sorry.
The motion is as set out in the paper. The request has been made for a named vote, which has got the necessary number of councillors for a named vote. So as members will be familiar, I'll read out your name. If you could please indicate whether you're for the motion, against it, or whether you abstain. Councillor Adam. Thank you.
Against.
Councillor Bacon.
Abstain.
Thank you. Councillor Barry.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Blake.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Bauer.
For.
Councillor Brown.
Against.
Against. Councillor Cameron.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Conlon.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Critchinson.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Dore.
Abstain.
Councillor Freeman.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Fuller.
For.
Councillor Garrett.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Haywood,
4.
Councillor Jarman.
4.
Thank you. Councillor Jeffries.
Abstain.
Thank you. Councillor Jones Evans.
Abstain.
Councillor Kirkby.
Against.
Councillor Lilly.
4.
4. Councillor Llewellyn.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Loke.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Love.
4.
Councillor Lothian.
4.
Thank you. Councillor Lucioni.
Abstain.
Abstain. Thank you. Councillor Newton.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Nye.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor PC Wilcox.
Abstain.
Abstain. Thank you. Councillor Potter.
Against.
Against. Thank you. Councillor Price.
4.
Thank you. Councillor Quinn.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Raff.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Rafferty.
4.
4. Councillor Reynolds.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Rochelle.
4.
Thank you. Councillor Stewart.
4.
4. Councillor Way.
Against.
Against. Thank you. Councillor Whelan.
Against.
Thank you. And Councillor Williams.
Against.
Against. Thank you. Oops.
Thank you, members. We'll just top that up. Members, thank you very much. Members of the public, for 15, against 17, abstentions 6, so the motion falls. Thank you. Members of the public, we are about to take a break. I can see members, we've been going for about an hour and a half. Members, if we have a 10-minute break, members of the public, if anyone's hanging around for the next set of elements on the agenda, you're welcome to stay. But we will take a 10-minute breather, stretch your legs, get some water. Thank you. If we can get going in a minute, members, that'd be great, please. Thank you very much, members. Item 6A is the appointments to the Independent Renumeration Panel and the MOs to introduce the report.
Thank you, Chairman. The report, as the Chairman's outlined, is to do with appointments to the Independent Remuneration Panel. The Appointments and Employment Committee interviewed 2 candidates and have made a recommendation that they be appointed to the Independent Remuneration Panel. It's set out in the report for a term of 3 years. There's also an additional recommendation that Aaron Ryde, who's an experienced member of the Independent Remuneration Panel, has his term of office extended for 3 years. The report is fairly explanatory. I will point out, just for additional detail, that existing 3 current members are due to retire from the panel in February and November next year. That's why, as a matter of prudence, we're recommending the early recruitment so they can gain experience on the Independent Remuneration Panel and therefore be fully experienced as quickly as possible, learning from any of the outgoing members on the Independent Remuneration Panel. And it's particularly important that the panel is resilient because it's going to be conducting some reviews on the allowances a bit later. And also a number of years ago, there had been some issues in terms of the sustainability of the panel. So the report contains 2 recommendations which need to be moved, not by me as an officer, but by a member to move it and second it, and then vote accordingly as to how you wish. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, MO. I call to the leader to move the motion, please. Jonathan?
I think it's actually Councillor Llewellyn who was going to move it.
Oh, well, lovely stuff. David, please, you move the motion. Have we got a seconder, please? Councillor Jones Evans. Thank you. David, Councillor Llewellyn. Would you wish to speak or do you just move forward?
No, thank you. No, I'm fine.
As we've got an action-packed agenda of motions to come, should we just move straight to the vote on this, or does anybody wish to discuss? Move to the vote. Okay, all those in favour, please show. Anyone against? Any abstentions? Thank you. Carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 6B, appointments to committees and outside bodies. And I turn once again to Mr. Potter to introduce the report and revised appendices. Chris, please.
Thank you, Chairman. The report in front of you is designed to ensure that the wishes of the groups and non-aligned are met insofar as there is any current vacancies. We've had the wishes expressed by the relevant individuals, and a revised agenda has been, appendix, I should say, has been placed before members. I do want to add an additional element in terms of the Harbour Committee. The change, a further change, is for Councillor Llewellyn to be a permanent member of the Harbour Committee, with Councillor Quinn being a substitute, and with the permission of the chairman of the council, as a matter of urgency, the issue of chair and vice chair of Harbour Committee, I understand, stands to be determined as well. I think, Chairman, I think Councillor Julie Jones-Evans wishes to speak.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Councillor Jones-Evans.
Thank you, and thank you to the monitoring officer, and thank you, Chair. Yes, just to further clarify the Harbour Committee, when we had the constitutional changes back in May, which I think there's of course some confusion across the board. It was pointed out after the meeting that in fact full council had to appoint the chair and vice chair of Harbour Committee due to the changes. You can see that all the service committees and other committees are done that way now. And just to clarify, that's 3.19 of the looking at the committees. And 3.60, it spells out the membership that it must if the proportionality allows, it must have the chair of ERTI, PFR, and the environment one as well. So Councillor Lucioni is the substitute for our group because the proportionality does not allow us to have two places. And so it's thank you for Councillor Wallen for stepping up so we basically to satisfy our new constitution. I would like to further put something towards, it's not, it won't be in our papers. I would like to actually nominate Councillor Matthew Price to be chair of Harbour Committee, and I will step down. I have quite a lot on my plate. Councillor Price has been on the Harbour Committee as long as I have, ever since it was created. He has, you know, I have the best side of Newport Harbour. He has the second best side, but even so, I think I'll let him. I'd like to put him forward to be chair of that committee. Thank you. I look for a seconder on that. Well, okay.
Thank you, Councillor Jones-Evans. Councillor Fuller, thank you.
And through you, Chair, are there any other nominations for chair of Harbour Committee?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Councillor Steve Reynolds. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Whelan.
Yeah, and is there a seconder for that? Yes, thank you.
Councillor Williams, seconds. Thank you.
So, Chair, just to clarify, if we deal with the election of the chair of Harbour Committee, first of all, we have two councillors put forward for the office of chair of Harbour Committee, Councillor Matt Price and Councillor Steve Reynolds. And I'm assuming that both are happy with their nominations and willing to serve. So therefore it stands to the council to determine which out of the two is going to be elected as chair of the Harbour Committee. Chair, if I read out names of each councillor, if you could indicate whether you're voting for Councillor Matt Price or whether you're voting for Councillor Steve Reynolds as chair.
Thank you.
Chair, are we going to debate? Are we going to comment on that or not? Are we going to comment on that? We normally comment on that, don't we?
In which case, I'll proceed to read out each of your names, and I say, please indicate whether you're voting for Matt Price or Councillor Steve Reynolds, or indeed abstaining. Councillor Adam.
Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you. Councillor Bacon.
Councillor Price.
And Councillor Barry, please.
Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you. Councillor Blake.
Councillor Price.
Thank you. Councillor Bauer.
Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you. Councillor Brown.
Councillor Reynolds.
Councillor Cameron.
Councillor Price.
Thank you. Councillor Conlin.
Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you. Councillor Christensen.
Councillor Price.
Thank you. Councillor Dore.
Councillor Price.
Thank you. Councillor Freeman.
Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you. Councillor Fuller.
Councillor Price.
Thank you. Councillor Garrett.
Councillor Price.
Thank you. Councillor Hayward.
Councillor Price.
Councillor Jarman.
Councillor Price.
Thank you. Councillor Jeffries.
Councillor Price.
Thank you. Councillor Jones Evans.
Councillor Price.
Thank you. Councillor Kirkby.
Councillor Reynolds.
Councillor Lilly.
Councillor Price.
Thank you. Councillor Llewellyn.
Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you. Councillor Loke.
Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you. Councillor Love.
Councillor Price.
Thank you. Councillor Lothian.
Councillor Price.
Thank you. Councillor Lucioni.
Councillor Price.
Thank you. Councillor Newton.
Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you. Councillor Nye.
Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you. Councillor PC Wilcox.
Abstain.
Thank you. Councillor Potter.
Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you. Councillor Price.
Councillor Price.
Thank you. Councillor Quinn.
Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you. Councillor Raff.
Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you. Councillor Rafferty.
Councillor Price.
Price, thank you. Councillor Reynolds.
Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you. Councillor Rochelle.
Councillor Price.
Thank you. Councillor Stewart.
Councillor Price.
Thank you. Councillor Way.
Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you. Councillor Whelan.
Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you. And Councillor Williams, please.
Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you.
All those who have, which hang on, for Councillor Reynolds, 18, Councillor Price, 19 with one abstention. Councillor Price, congratulations. And we now have to do vice. Is anybody else sticking their hand? Or they're all in. It's a harbour joke. Never mind. Tough crowd for vice.
As Councillor Reynolds has already sat and has already been voted in as vice, we'd ask that he remain in post. Thank you.
Any objections to that? Anybody else want to challenge it? No? Absolutely. Councillor Reynolds, congratulations. You can have the other or. You can be sculling together.
Right, Chair, thank you for that, and thank you, members. So you've had the revised appendix circulated regarding appointments to committees with the additional words in relation to the Harbour Committee itself. So what I suggest is that you vote on that aspect as to the revised, yes, the revised appendix. So we'll need a motion from the floor and seconded that the appointments as set out in the revised appendix circulated as altered by I mentioned Harbour. Sorry,
Councillor Stewart, and I'd like to get this done on block.
I'll pass it. I suggest that we pass them all and get a move on.
Yeah, absolutely. Do I have a second from the floor, please? Thank you. All those in favour? Anyone against? And anybody abstaining? Thank you. Carried. Right then, item 6B on the agenda, appointments to committees and outside monitors. Patrick, Chris, you're up again.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, this is in relation to the appointments to outside bodies. Members will recall that those positions which were not in dispute were dealt with at the full annual council on the 27th of May. So you have an appendix in front of you in relation to outside bodies, and it's a matter of voting through that as to which member you wish to serve as according to what vacancies arise. Now, I don't have a copy in front of me. I think the chair, you do. You want me to go through? Okay, thank you.
Just give us a couple of seconds, members, while we go through perhaps a quicker procedure.
Thank you, Chair. The first one, as far as I can see, where there's more than one candidate, relates to the Hampshire and Isle of Wight Fire and Rescue Authority, where there's a vacancy for one member, and we have Councillor Whelan and Councillor Lucioni putting themselves forward for that one vacancy. So again, with your permission, what I suggest is that I read out the names in terms of your own names, and if you can indicate whether you're voting for Councillor James.
Chris, can we do it as a show of hands?
Yeah, can do, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'd like to propose that we do this by a show of hands, just to speed things up. We've got an hour to go and quite a lot of motions to get through. So this is for the chair. I can't read the page, it's all in black.
Yes, this is, just to recap, this is for the Hampshire and Isle of Wight Fire and Rescue Authority, and Councillor Whelan has put himself forward, or been put forward, and Councillor Lucioni likewise been put forward.
Okay, so all those in favour supporting Councillor Whelan, please raise, and we'll do a count, please. Simon. Thank you very much. And all in favour of Councillor Lucioni. Abstention from Councillor Blake. Okay. 19, Councillor Lucioni, 18, Councillor Whelan. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. By my calculation, the next one to note is the Hampshire and Solent Combined County Authority Governance and Audits Committee. There's two vacancies for two reform councillors which have been notified to this authority on the basis of the regional calculation of political proportionality. And the names forward are Councillor Bill Nye and Councillor Les Kirkby. Yes. Yep. So if members just confirm that, please.
To get an indication of support, please raise all four. Supporting them, those nominations. Thank you. Anyone against? One, and any abstentions? Four. Thank you. That's carried. Thank you.
No, you don't. Bluntly. Because you have to, yeah, you have to record it, you have to vote. You know, it's like with the wishes of groups, you know, for our committees, full council is obliged to vote and respect the wishes of the group. So we've had the notification from the combined authority that the proportionality works for two vacancies from reform, and therefore we have to receive the wishes from reform, which we have, and members need to vote accordingly. Thank you. Chairman, the next one again is with the combined authority, and this is in relation to the Overview and Scrutiny Committee. And again, two reform council vacancies have been notified to this authority, and the names put forward by the reform group are Councillor James Whelan and Councillor Reuben Loke.
All those four? Anyone against? Any abstentions? Four. Thank you. Carried.
And the next one, Chairman, if I may, we have one name put forward because it's by virtue of the Constitution, which was their Constitution agreed earlier this week, and that's for the Transport Committee. And the name put forward is Councillor Julie Jones-Evans, if that's my understanding. Thank you. No, it's because by virtue of the chairmanship of the committee dealing with transport. So again, members just need to formally ratify.
Okay, all those supporting Councillor Jones-Evans, please raise. Anyone against? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Thank you. The Hampshire Police and Crime Panel, there are 2 vacancies, and obviously we've got to decide who the standing member is and who's the deputy. We've got 2 names put forward, Councillor Rochelle and Councillor Adam. So again, it's a matter for members to decide as to who the permanent member should be and who the deputy member should be. So maybe by vote of hands.
Show of hands for Councillor Rochelle, please.
Yeah, can I just ask, is this for the permanent member or for the?
Sorry, Councillor Whelan, I should have made that clear. Yeah, permanent member. So for Councillor Rochelle, please. Please show. Thank you. And for Councillor Adam. We got any abstentions? That comes down to casting vote, I believe, which will be Councillor Rochelle. By virtue of where we are, I would imagine we just move forward with Councillor Adam as vice. Yeah, members, if you can indicate that you support Councillor Vice for that. All those in favour? Thank you. Anyone against? Got to go through the process. Any abstentions? Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. The next one we need to focus on is the National Landscapes Steering Group. There's 2 vacancies and we have 3 members put forward. Councillor Becca Cameron, Councillor Claire Critchison and Councillor James Whelan.
Okay, we'll do this as we did last time in a knockout scenario. Could you all show, please, for Councillor Cameron first? All those for Councillor Critchison, please.
Do we get 2 votes?
Yeah, please count.
Yeah. I think we need some clarification, please.
Okay, so what we're doing is what we did last time. There are 3 candidates for 2 positions. We'll do it a knockout. Okay, so it's voting on each one first and then we go round again. Okay, so
vote twice.
But you can vote twice. Yeah.
Just to be really clear, Chair,
Yes.
each member can vote twice because there are two names that you can vote for. And at the end of those round of names, that person with the lowest number will not be on the National Landscapes Board.
If we could start again, yes.
Ian, can I just
A point of order.
Oh, point of order. Can I just withdraw?
You can do,
Favourite,
Becca.
and then those two get it, and then we don't have to have the vote.
Okay, Councillor Cameron has withdrawn. So it leaves us with Councillor Christensen and Councillor Whelan. So, all those in favour of
Well, we've got two members for two
That's how we need
vacancies.
to-
So as long as members just indicate that they're happy with the two members proposed following Councillor Cameron's withdrawal. Thank you. Thank you. Chairman, sorry for the slight delay. The next one on the sheet is number 44, which is the Southern Inshore Fisheries and Conservation Authority. I understand there's a member and a deputy. I have Councillor Ed Blake and Councillor Paul Fuller who've been put forward. So, yes, so we need, as with one of the earlier appointments, we need to determine who is the permanent member and who is the deputy. So it's Councillor Ed Blake and Councillor Paul Fuller.
Thank you, and we'll go to the vote first of all for the permanent member. All those in favour of Councillor Blake, please. Thank you very much. So Councillor Fuller will sit as the deputy. Thank you. Are council happy with that scenario? It was rhetoric, broadly speaking, Laura. We're trying to get through these as quick as we can so we can get into the motions. We have got some other council business to attend to as well.
Thank you, Chairman. The next one is number 46, SACRE, Standing Advisory Council for Religious Education.
Sorry, why before you carry on, I'm going to withdraw my position with my name on that list. I attended the last meeting and said that I would be relinquishing that position. I've sat on that committee for 5 years, and it'll be really good for other people to sit there and experience that. So I think it'd be really good to have someone else in that position. Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification. So we have appointments to put forward Councillor Lothian and Councillor Way. So as long as members are happy with those two appointments, then we can move on.
Members, can we just get affirmation on that? All those in favour of those two appointments, please raise. Anyone against? Any abstentions?
Thank you. The next item, 47, the Standing Conference on Problems Associated with the Coastline SCOPAC. Vacancy for one member. We have two nominations, Councillor Becca Cameron and Councillor Quinn.
All those in favour of Councillor Cameron, please raise. Thank you. And Councillor Quinn, please. Any abstentions? No for myself. Okay, thank you very much. Let's carry for Councillor Quinn.
Yes, the next one is number 49, Visit Isle of Wight Limited. One vacancy, two councillors have been put forward, Councillor Nick Stewart and Councillor Reuben Loke.
Thank you. All those in favour of Councillor Stewart, please raise. Thank you. And for Councillor Loke, please raise. Congratulations, Councillor Loke, duly elected.
The next one is number 50. Sounds like bingo, doesn't it? Yarmouth Isle of Wight Harbour Advisory Committee. There's one full member and one deputy. We have four names put forward. Councillor Becca Cameron, Councillor Ed Blake, Councillor Paul Williams and Councillor Reynolds.
Can I withdraw from that and just go up for deputy?
Okay, so moving on with that, all those in favour of Councillor Blake, please raise. Thank you very much. For Councillor Williams, please raise. Thank you very much. And for Councillor Reynolds, please. Councillor Williams, duly elected as the member. Councillor Cameron, do you still wish to remain as deputy on this? Becca. Withdraw. Okay, thank you. Okay, so appointing the deputy, all those in favour of Councillor Blake, please raise. That would do it. Councillor Blake, congratulations as deputy. Thank you. The last one, I think.
Yes. Yes, indeed, Chair. Number 51, the Youth Justice Management Board. There's one member vacancy. We have two candidates, Councillor Loke and Councillor Lucioni.
Thank you. And all those in favour of Councillor Loke, please. Thank you. And for Councillor Lucioni. Was it 18 or 19? Sorry. You include Councillor Bacon. I think we'll rerun the fun on that one, just so we've got a definitive number. All those for Councillor Lucioni, please. Thank you, Mr. Wiggins. Councillor Lucioni, duly appointed. Congratulations.
And Chair, just for completeness, obviously we voted on a number of matters tonight to do with outside bodies, and we've gone through the list where the numbers have been, bases have been contested. Those other names on the list in front of you, we can confirm have been appointed. And just for the sake of clarity, we'd get someone to propose that and second it, then that should totally deal with the, sorry, I was looking that direction, so apologies. No, I was just saying for the sake of completeness, we've voted where there's been contested positions tonight on outside bodies, and that's necessitated obviously going through the appendix and moving on to those matters where they're contested. So just for completeness, I was suggesting that those ones where we skipped over because there was only one put on the appendix, that members confirm that they're happy with that list, which you have in front of you. That was all, and apologies for not using the microphone properly. Thank you.
Councillor Stewart.
I'd like to propose that.
Do we have a seconder, please? Councillor Jeffries, thank you. All those in favour? Anyone against? Any abstentions? Really do want to move forward with this. Review of the Isle of Wight Council Members Allowance Scheme, which is item 6C.
Thank you, Chairman. This report is largely self-explanatory. There's no substantial changes within the budget, because the thing to bear in mind is that only one SRA allowance can be payable to a member at any one time. This arises through the original January report, where the panel said if there were to be any changes, they wanted to be cited on it and produce a supplemental report, which they have done. And also the other aspect of the report is recommending the increase in the mileage rate off island travel up to 55 pence per mile. So the recommendation set out in the report, it needs to be moved and seconded. And just for the sake of clarity, the current basic allowance for members, because I think there's a typo in documentation, is indeed £10,800. So there's no change in that.
Thank you. Can I seek a proposal, please, from the floor? Yeah, Councillor Bacon, and a seconder, please, for that. Councillor Stewart, thank you. We'll move straight to the vote. All those in favour? Anyone against? Councillor Price, and any abstentions? Thank you. I'm just going to swap items 7 and 8 round on the agenda, because item 8 we absolutely have to do. It's a legal responsibility. So I'll hand over to the Chief Exec, Wendy.
Thank you, Chair. Just to be really brief on the introduction, this decision is required to ensure the council continues to comply with its statutory duty under Section 151 of the Local Government Act 1972 to appoint a designated Chief Finance Officer. The current arrangement with Portsmouth City Council ends on the 31st of July of this year, creating the need for an interim appointment until a permanent Strategic Director of Finance is recruited, and that recruitment is underway. Indeed, we will be seeking to bring to the September committee the outcome of that recruitment campaign. Designating Adam Richins as the interim Section 151 officer will provide continuity of financial leadership, maintain effective governance and oversight, and mitigate the legal and financial risks associated with the council being without a formally appointed Chief Finance Officer. Thank you, Chair, and I'll look to you to ask for a proposer and seconder.
Thank you very much, Chief Exec. So I'll turn to Councillor Llewellyn to move the motion.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I think as Wendy says, we don't have a choice in this. We have to appoint a Section 151 officer. I've worked with Adam, who is not in the room at the moment. I think he's very good. So I would like to propose this motion that we go ahead.
Thank you very much, Councillor Llewellyn. We need a seconder from the floor, please. Councillor Rochelle. Oh, there we go. Thank you very much. I'd like to propose we move straight to the vote on this, please. All those in favour, please raise. Anyone against? And any abstentions? Thank you. Carried unanimously. Thank you. We'll come back to the Youth Justice Plan. And I think we go to Councillor Freeman for that. This is item 7, sorry, on the agenda, 7A. Councillor Freeman, Ros.
Thank you, Chair. The 226th annual update outlines the progress made by the Isle of Wight Youth Justice against a 3-year youth justice plan and sets out priorities for the coming years. This report highlights significant achievements, ongoing challenges, and the service's commitment to a child-first partnership-based approach. A key achievement over the past year has been the Youth Justice Board's recognition of the Isle of Wight's progress, with the service moving from Quadrant 2 to Quadrant 1, which is the highest rating a youth justice service could have achieved. So well done there. This reflects improvements in child-first practice, restorative justice, and partnership effectiveness. The service also strengthened governance arrangements by transitioning from a management board to a youth justice partnership board, reinforcing joint ownership and accountability across agencies. The demographic profile of children involved with the service has remained relatively stable, increasingly slightly from 251 to 256 children. The cohort remains predominantly male and includes a significant number of children with additional vulnerabilities, particularly neurodiversity and special educational needs. Improved identification and recording of autism, speech and language needs and other SEND characteristics enables the service to tailor interventions more effectively. The service has also expanded support available for girls through targeted programs and activities. The report reviews progress against 5 strategic priorities. In education, stronger partnership with schools and education services have been developed, with exclusion data now shared through the Young Future programme. Future work will focus on earlier interventions in schools, trauma-informed approaches, and reducing exclusions and suspensions. Regarding disproportionality, the service completed and proved a disproportionately strategic supported by local baseline data. The next phase will focus on targeted interventions for overrepresented groups and increasing staff cultural competence. In health, progress has been made through the recruitment of a new mental health practitioner and renewed partnership with sexual health services. However, the lack of dedicated speech and language therapy remains a major concern and is identified as a priority for continued escalation with health partners. The service continues to prioritise prevention and victim-focused work,
funding for the Youth Crime Prevention Service has been secured until July 2027, supporting diversionary approaches and helping to keep first-time entrants into justice system below the national and statistical neighbour averages. Plans include expanding work in schools and launching restorative ambassador programmes. While first-time entrant performance is very positive, reoffending remains a key challenge. The annual reoffending rate remains above national averages, and the service has established a dedicated reoffending task and finish group to analyse trends and develop targeted interventions. Support from the Youth Justice Board is helping the service develop a clearer practice model to improve outcomes. Quality assurance has become increasingly embedded through the audit participation work, feedback systems, and the "you said, we did, so what" approach. Audit findings are being used to drive continuous improvement, workforce development, and better practice across the service. Performance data shows several strengths. The Isle of Wight has achieved a sustained reduction in first-time entrants, performs well in preventing custody, and maintains low rates of serious youth violence. However, challenges remained reoffending, access to specialist support services, and improving outcomes in education, training, and employment. The report also highlights alignment with Youth Justice Board 8 pillars of effective youth justice, demonstrating strengths in child first practice, leadership, multi-agency working, restorative justice, workforce development, use of data, and shared learning. The service continues to contribute nationally through conferences, pilots, and best practice sharing. Let's look ahead. The key priorities are securing speech and language provision, improving assessment and plan quality, reducing reoffending, strengthening early intervention, and ensuring all children receive coordinated support that improves safety, well-being, and life chances. Overall, the report presents a service that has made strong progress, is performing well against many national indicators, and remains focused on continuous improvement for children, victims, and communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ross. Well finished off. Well done, Councillor Freeman. We seek a second on this one from the floor, please. Councillor Garrett, thank you very much. Would anybody like to discuss any elements of that? Councillor John, Chris.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to start with some of the finances, please, if I could. So in Appendix 1, which is the period coming 25 to 28, we include within the 2026 update the breakdown of expenditure from 24-25 and 25-26. There's nothing in there which covers the budgetary elements or the expenditures planned for this year from 26-27 or the years going forward. And I wondered where within the plan those budgetary figures would be, please. Because I couldn't find them.
Thank you very much, Councillor John. Anybody else on the floor? Is Councillor Garrett going to speak on this? I can't remember. Andrew.
I'll reserve my right for now, Chair.
I was waiting for the answer, Chair.
Councillor Freeman will summarise at the end. It's not a debate, Chris. It's really
Thank you, Chair. Speech and language has been an ongoing issue for quite a considerable time now. And whilst we hear your concerns, and I echo your concerns, it's not about echoing concerns. It's about what are we doing to resolve this issue. Our health partners have continually been asked to resolve this matter. Can you give me some reassurance and tell me what your conversations have been about that particular issue moving forward? Because this has to be, from an education point of view, you cannot progress educationally if you cannot have the speech and language support that you need. And that's really important because that helps us with reoffending and all those other things as well.
Thank you very much, Councillor Love. Got anybody else? Councillor Garrett. Councillor John, it's not a discussion. You've asked a question and it's a one bite of the cherry, I'm afraid. Councillor Freeman will sum up when she has her right to reply after the seconder, which is Councillor Garrett.
I would just commend Councillor Jarman to have a discussion with officers if he has particular concerns about a paper which has been in his possession for at least 5 working days. So those questions could have been asked before this meeting.
Thank you very much, Councillor Garrett. There's no other comments from the floor. Councillor Freeman, you are free to sum up.
I couldn't quite hear what Councillor Love said at the end. It drifted off. So I can't answer that bit of it. But you were talking about speech and language. With the speech and language, the Youth Justice Plan is really set on overcoming the problems of speech and language. I'm going to have to decline in talking further about this because I need to take some conversations with the service director about this. Youth Justice Plan sets out the priorities for the coming year, which I think I've fully explained in this report. And that's really all I want to say about it. I can't take it any further, but I'm happy to provide further information to the councillors at a later date.
Absolutely. And you'll be able to take the audio and then provide a written response, Councillor Freeman. Thank you. So we'll move to the vote on that then, please. All those in favour?
Sorry.
Councillor Jarman, we are moving to the vote.
My question.
And she will give you a written response. I think that was quite clear. We move to the vote.
Confirm that we can agree a paper that doesn't have a budget.
Councillor Jarman. Councillor Freeman said she will provide a written response to questions. So we move to the vote. All those in favour, please. Anyone against? And any abstentions? Thank you, that's carried. Thank you. Members, we are on to motion 9A, which appears to be me. I'll try and make this as quick as I possibly can. This motion is in many respects about time. Time is the one thing that none of us can get back. Once it's gone, it is gone. And poor highways management takes time from everyone. Parents on the school run, carers trying to reach someone in need, workers trying to earn a living, businesses waiting for customers, residents trying to get to appointments, and visitors trying to move around the island. I move this motion not to criticise one committee, one officer, one stakeholder, or to rerun an operational highways decision. I move it because the issue has been circling in this chamber for years. This motion is not coming from nowhere, and it is not mine alone in gift. Across the council, members from different groups have been saying the same thing. The island's highways arrangements are not giving residents and businesses the confidence, clarity, or accountability that they deserve. Councillor Jones-Evans has called for proper committee scrutiny of roadworks, disruption and its impact on residents, businesses, health, education and access. The leader has acknowledged poor forward planning, poor communication and described the Island Roads contract as a bad contract. Councillor Kirkby has raised serious concerns about urgent and emergency utility works, the lack of protection for residents and businesses, and the breakdown in communication between the council and Island Roads. Councillor Whelan has backed that position and said islanders deserve clearer information, better coordination and fewer surprises. Councillor Garrett has called for a more joined up approach between the council contractors, developers and utility companies. Councillor Jarman has warned about the impact of roadworks on traffic flow, businesses and visitors. The list goes on and on with comments from Councillor Christensen, Councillor Blake, Councillor Price and Councillor PC Wilcock in their own wards and communities. So the starting point is simple, and it's tonight. Many members have identified the problem, residents have lived with it, businesses have paid for it, and parish councils have warned us about it. But until now, the next step has never properly been put on the table. Now, Firestone Copse Road matters because it brings those concerns into sharp focus. The material disclosed through FOI and EIR does not, in my view, show the level of recorded evidence, options appraisal, safety assessment, displacement assessment, decision record or accountability trail that residents are entitled to expect. It's just not good enough. Firestone was the catalyst. It exposed the wider problem. Traffic was displaced and Haven Street took the brunt of the flow while Eleanor's Grove remained closed. Now that matters because the council's own speed review identifies Haven Street as a significant safety concern. During the closure period, there were at least 2 crashes, including one car leaving the road in Haven Street into a field. Now that should trouble every member of this council. Now this is not a fist-waving motion at any provider. It's not blame for the sake of blame. It's about whether our governance, bless you, is strong enough, whether our contract oversight is strong enough, whether elected members can properly scrutinise decisions taken under delegated highways arrangements. It is about whether the public can see who decided what, on what evidence, with what safeguards and with what monitoring. It is an opportunity to tighten things up. Now, this motion does not bypass committee, it strengthens committee. It sends the matter to the appropriate committee or committees, asks them to consider the scope, cost and commissioning route for an independent contract assurance review, and then brings the matter back to full council for final debate on the decision. That is measured, it is proportionate and it is democratic. Members are not being asked tonight to prejudge every answer. We are being asked to accept that the questions are serious enough to require a formal independent route and rise to the expectations of residents. If we agree the current situation has not been good enough, then saying so is no longer enough. Tonight is our chance to move from complaint to scrutiny, from frustration to evidence, and from words to a process that can command public confidence, because the public have already lost enough time. Let us not lose more. I ask members to support this motion. I seek a seconder. Councillor Stewart, thank you. Councillor Stewart, do you wish to speak now or reserve?
Reserve the right.
Thank you very much, Councillor Stewart. Do we have any members to comment on this? Councillor Jones-Evans.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the motion. I have to just point one thing out, though. The starting point is not tonight. The starting point was way back in April when our new director of Mr. Moon of Communities started with the authority, and I was on the phone to him straight away. Work has already been commenced. We're having a verbal update at committee next week. So just wanted to reassure that all members of the committee, this is our top item under our transport remit. If not the top of across our huge portfolio of sectors we have to look at. It's also Mr. Moon isn't here, Mrs. Love isn't here this evening to be able to explain what work has been done already. I don't know if you've had any, you and actually Councillor Stewart have had any private briefings. I would, that will be completely available to you as well. Councillor Stewart has got a motion later on. That's why I sort of picked you out, and obviously you just seconded this motion. There's nothing in here that isn't already on our radar. In 2C though, we've already just appointed a new member of our team to do just this work on a contract. That's already started. So I'm a bit reticent to go ahead and support the motion in its entirety because that work's already started. So I don't know whether there's any way that we can come to any sort of changes to the motion, take that out, or whether we can just do it as is, and then you can maybe accept that this work has already started with this new appointment. But I'll leave that in your hands, Chair. I just want to reassure you, everyone here, everyone who's listening, all the public and the press that will be reporting on this, that the work has already started. There'll be a substantive update at committee next Thursday, and I welcome any member of this council to talk to me or councillor or any member of the ERTI committee regarding any of the items that have been raised with your motion. But thank you.
Councillor Jones-Evans, thank you very much. As I said, it's not a criticism of committee. We as a full council should own this moving forward. Councillor Price, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I definitely support this. My frustrations leading up to the election. And when by far the busiest road on the island, Fairley Road, was closed for 10 days for works that, in my opinion, could have been done while keeping the road partly open. We used that opportunity, and I thank Mr. Moon particularly, and some of the other officers that helped out, and some representatives from Island Roads as well, for using that opportunity to get other jobs done. But even so, better coordination could have changed the whole situation. And at the same time, I also had Brittlesford Road closed for 2 days while Fairley Road was closed. I mean, and then accidents happening on White Rails Road. It was just endless. And only a couple of weeks before the election, of course, so it wasn't exactly the most helpful time for me. But no, I wholeheartedly support your approach. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Councillor Price. Councillor Jarman and Councillor Blake.
Likewise, I support your approach, Chair, and I'm glad you brought this forward. What I would ask is under some clarification under point 2 on there, which is where you refer to committee or committees. And just to make sure that, given we do discuss cost implications here, that whichever committee discusses it first, perhaps transport infrastructure, I suggest that it does come to the PFR committee after that, because of those cost implications do need consideration.
They are noted in the paper. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Councillor John. Councillor Blake.
Thank you, Chair. I'll try and be very quick. I just want to point out that obviously my ward has been extremely affected by road closures. As anyone else that wants to sort of bring up road closures, I see you and raise you a millionfold. We've even got to the point where every single road into the town was closed at one point, and we had to bust through a blockade to get a pregnant woman out who was in labour. I entirely sympathise with the motion, and I am minded to support it. I would prefer it though. I think if we can put a tiny amendment in, just to say that after the conclusion of what's going through the ERTI committee, if we're still unsatisfied, then we enact this, because I think is quite a key, and I think the timing on it is unfortunate because, as Councillor Jones-Evans pointed out, some work has begun, and I would point out to you that the work truly begun when about a year ago we had a formal reset with our relationship with Island Roads, and we got in NISTA, an independent government overarching body that came in and ruled in favour of either the council or on Island Roads on many issues, and blame was attributed to both around particularly the comms, and communication would solve a hell of a lot of this council's problems. No one's willing to come out and say something. It's all pointing to someone else. For instance, there's problems in my ward. You go to each individual body in individual cases, and they go, it's their fault. This is the problem. Someone needs to come out and say, this is mine, or this is the road map and how we to get to any problem. And I'm still waiting to see the justification for why Bath Road is allowed to be closed for 3 years, when if it was Newport High Street, it wouldn't be allowed to be closed for 3 years, but still no policy which dictates at what point Newport High Street becomes Bath Road. At some point, we will agree, I think, that if Bath Road, if New High Street was closed for the same thing that closed Bath Road, it would not be closed for that time. It would be immediately reopened. Something would kick in to allow Newport High Street to reopen. So I'm still waiting for clarification on that. But I say, if you will accept it, Chair, it's a tiny amendment just to say that we make this motion, enact it, if we're displeased after the ERTI committee. Bear in mind that is quite a key report. It's next week after next. This Thursday coming.
Thursday, the 23rd of July.
Yeah, let me consider that, Councillor Blake. I say thanks so much. I don't see that's anything inappropriate, but this is all about council owning this as well. So that's that I feel is very, very important. It's been removed. It's been problematic in the past. Councillor Garrett, please.
Yeah, you won't be surprised that as the representative of Parkhurst and Honeyhill, which has Horsebridge Hill within it, and that has seen a gyratory system, a diversion and one-way closure twice in the last 12 months, that I'm very much supportive of the approach that you have indicated. I welcome the comments from Councillor Jones-Evans that work is underway. I know that is true because I've had those conversations with Mr. Moon very soon after the elections, when I know I was returned and could lobby him effectively. But it is also very, very important that this council, as you say yourself, Chair, owns this issue. Because as I explained to anybody, when something goes wrong, who is it who gets called? And that's the ward councillor. And we're the ones who get the phone calls, we're the ones who get the emails, and we're the ones who have to bear the brunt of the frustration of residents and the real damage done to businesses when a closure leads to them not either people choosing not to visit their business because they're not willing to go around the great diversion in place, or they are dependent on passing traffic. So it is both residents and the businesses that we all depend upon surviving, that depend upon us having a very different approach to this. Consultation first, which my colleague Councillor Stewart is pushing in his own motion, should be the principle. That's not a statutory consultation necessarily, but it's been open to listening. For example, the first I knew about the closure of Horsebridge Hill was on a Tuesday, 10 days before the actual closure was to happen.
and the signs went up at 5 p.m. that evening. And I had for months been saying, when can we talk about what's going to happen? Because I'd anticipated the major, incredible, the awful impact, in fact, of that one-way diversion and closure. And ultimately, we should be grateful to the residents who forebore the difficulties they had. Councillor PC Wilcox knows very well, because we were on weekly conversations with officers. This is not to point a finger of blame at anybody. It is about learning. We can always learn. And your motion, and I hope we get to Councillor Stewart's motion as well, amplify the mood of this chamber that we can do better.
Thank you very much, Councillor Garrett. Later on, we are 13 minutes away. I will attempt to move that we extend slightly.
Designation, Chair.
Sorry. No, Councillor James Evans, I'm moving on to the next councillor to speak, which is Councillor Kirkby. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I've had some looks into it, what's been going on, etc. I feel that over the last few years, the council and Island Roads are working against each other as opposed to with each other. I can't really agree with what happened at Firestone, Copse, because it was explained to me what went on, and if the importance of councillors going to engagement meetings with Southern Water before that happened, then they would have found out, it was in the original plan to shut that road. But I think with the new member of staff coming in, the council are employing. I know in Wales his knowledge is very good, and I think he will bring the gap between the council and the Island Roads back together. I think the wall needs to be taken down. It doesn't need money spent on it. It needs people talking to get the roads back running, and taking one of the main culprits of the road problems. If you've only got to look at the figures that I've brought out, most utility firms, their emergency road repairs, etc., is about, give or take a good year or a bad year, 30% Southern Water, and that is nationally all over the country. On the Isle of Wight, most utilities, including Island Roads, because they are a utility to us, because they work for us. But then you look at Southern Water's emergency planning, it's running at 70%. We've got to get that bridge, and I think with a new member of staff, we'll break the wall of them and us. We'll bring them together, and with that and the new member of staff, we can get the roads running again. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kirkby. The closure, it was highlighted to town councils. The emergency closure has no evidence base, and that's included in the 32,000 words and the 68 documents that will be shared with all the committees, which should lead or not lead to an oversight and review. But that's for members to take a look at. Councillor Jeffries, Mark.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, as the adjoining ward to Councillor Blake, my ward has also been largely impacted by road closures for the last, since I've been a councillor. At one point, Louverville was actually cut off from public transport. We had no bus service from Louverville to the town centre. People had to walk or get a taxi or whatever way they could to actually get down there. Also, on the Brabham, just last week, we had sort of some gas. We were actually doing repairs on there without any notice, obviously. And they just were on freeway lights, very disrupted when the school was coming in and out. But at least the road was open. I suppose there's some sort of consolation for that. And I would fully support this motion in whichever way we amend it and it goes through.
Thank you very much, Councillor Jeffries. I'll turn to Councillor Stewart, please.
I think the mood of the chamber and the different views have been put forward very succinctly today, and I welcome all members who've done this so carefully and clearly, and I suggest that we move straight to a vote.
I'm happy to do that, but I would like to sum up. There's a very poignant element to this, and I'm grateful for the debate this evening, but I want us to bring us back to what this motion is, what it actually does. And although it might be the top of the item for a committee, it should be the top for us as a full council. This is my 6th year in this. We've never tried it before, and we should. It doesn't commission the review tonight. It does not write the terms of reference tonight. It doesn't bypass the appropriate committees. It does not ask full council to reach a final conclusion before the evidence has been properly considered. As I said to Councillor Kirkby, the 68 documents here, totaling 32,000 words, along with images and videos. Now, I'm not asking members to determine all of that evidence tonight. I'm asking that it's given the proper democratic route. This is what that motion does, and it empowers us as members, and most importantly, it empowers full council. If the objection is that it belongs to a committee, then yes, exactly. The motion refers it to the appropriate committee or committees. If the objection is the committee needs to consider scope, cost and commissioning route, then yes, exactly that, Councillor Jarman. That is what the motion asks committee to do. If the objection is that members need the papers before making a final decision, then again, yes, exactly. The motion asks that the reports, background papers and supporting documents are circulated to all members in good time before the matter returns to full council. So this is not a shortcut, it's a disciplined route. And this issue is bigger than one road, one closure, one ward, one group or one committee cycle. Firestone Copse Road has exposed serious questions about evidence, record keeping, communications, option appraisals, member engagement, the list goes on. They go to the relationship between council, Island Roads, utilities, parish councils, businesses and the residents that we represent. The public are not asking us to score political points, they're asking to prove that we have heard them. And across this chamber, members have already said in public that the system is not working as it should. The leader has called the contract a bad contract. The relevant committee chair has called for a full substantive report, and I support that. Other members have called for a better coordination, clearer information. So tonight the question is not whether concerns exist, they plainly do. I'm going to move forward on a lot of this because we are time selling, but I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story when I was out on Firestone Copse. I met a lady and I'll call her Sue. She was parked in her car, visually distressed, trying to work out on her phone how to get around the closure. She had not known the road was closed because it happened instantly. And she didn't realise until she got there. And by her own admission, she was not especially confident with sat-navs or technology. That morning, Sue's journey was delayed by at least 45 minutes, possibly closer to an hour, as she had to turn around and go the long way round to Ryde. And that's not a minor inconvenience. She was trying to visit her dying mother in a care home. That is what times means. It's not just a line on a traffic management plan. It's not a diversion on a map. It's time with someone you love. And I've been down that road myself. Many of us have. And when someone is nearing the end of life, every minute matters. We can't give that time back to Sue. We can't give her that time back to her mother either. But we can decide tonight that those experiences deserve more sympathy, they deserve scrutiny, and they deserve evidence, and they deserve accountability. We owe it to people like Sue and the hundreds these closures affect. I ask members to support the motion and we'll go straight to the vote. All those in favour, please raise. Anybody against? Any abstentions? Thank you, members. Thank you very much. I'm going to move to procedural 9, which deals with the duration of the meeting. Sorry, Chris. Yeah, it is your fighting. It can be suspended for the particular meeting under procedural 25. 20 members need to suspend procedural 9. And I'd like to suspend it, I think, half an hour will probably get us through the next couple of months. And so we've got 38 minutes. Okay, so we'll suspend. The reason for it, I think it's very important for the Southern Water motion this evening. So if we are in agreement with that, councillors, please raise. We'll suspend for half an hour. All those in favour, please raise. We need 20 members to support this. No? All those against? You count this on. Yeah, we're going to need a count. Sorry. Proposal to suspend. All those raised in support, please. To suspend. Yeah. To extend the meeting. Sorry, then. Send us procedure rules so we can extend the meeting by half an hour.
Yeah, can I just ask clarity?
Hang on.
If The motions will be carried to the next meeting, is that correct?
Correct. If we don't suspend, they'll be deferred to the next meeting, Carl. So all those in favour to extend the meeting by half an hour to get these nailed, please raise. It will eat into your football time, I'm sorry. Yeah.
The 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, Chair.
Thank you very much. We are able to extend until 9:30. Thank you very much. Moving on, we're jumping around a bit. Quiet, please, members. We'll try and get through this as quickly as possible. We're going to move to the agenda item proposed by Councillor Blake. On his request, pay attention, sunshine. He requested whether we could bump this up the agenda because it is time specific. If we don't discuss it tonight, the decision is made in September. Councillor Blake, can you enlighten people on that? And
thank you, Russia, and thank you for pushing my motion up the agenda based on its time sensitivity. To give some background information on this for members, earlier this year, the MCA made a recommendation to the government that our Coast Guard rescue officers are to have their remuneration removed as a reaction to the High Court ruling that they are to be classed as workers. Now, the fact that they receive a P60 at the end of the year didn't tell them that is quite something. So in the reaction to that, rather than just create a carve out, which they could do, and which I would be pushing the government to do, they've decided to totally remove the remuneration package. Now, the remuneration package is very similar to our councillor one. It's not a wage. It is simply just to compensate you for the costs involved and a small reward for what the work you're doing. To give indication of that, they get a £11 an hour remuneration package for the first 3 hours they're on. For 3 hours they're on a call. They do on the island. They respond to over 300 instances a year. Now that's 300 times they've got to down tools and whatever they're doing, child's birthday, Christmas Day, August bank holiday, whilst England are playing Argentina, they've got to carry on and do what they want. They've got to carry on and do their role. There's also some confusion around what their role is. A lot of people think here Coast Guards, and they think of the American Coast Guards, they think of Border Force, they think of what we class as the RNLI. They are primarily land-based. They are mainly doing the things that the fire brigade, the ambulance and the police can't do, things like cliff rescues, mud rescues. A lot of their work now is centred around the effects of mental health. The amount of times they get called out at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because someone has put a call in to say that they are somewhere along the cliffs between Chale and Freshwater. Come find me. I'm going to do something to myself. Honestly, they can't count the amount of times. So then after that, after a 6-hour search, most of the time actually they don't find people. It's a hoax as well, which is dreadful. They have to then go to work. The small remuneration package they receive, they say they don't do it for it, but it allows them to do it. And in terms of the effect of this, over 50% of the CROs have said that they won't be able to continue on their role as they are currently if they have the remuneration package removed. Put that into context, Bembridge and Needles team typically only have 3 Coast Guards rescue officers attending each call. If half of those don't turn up, that's 1. And that 1 person can't go out on their own. So this would see that a lot more pressure put on to not only their flank station in Ventnor, which currently regularly has sort of 9 to 11 members turning out to each call, but also puts intolerable pressure on things like our fire and rescue and our ambulance service and our police. Bearing in mind that these are category 1 responders. If you call 999, you can get a Coast Guard rescue officer out to you. They are as important as our fire rescue service, our ambulance and our police. The other, the things that they oversee are far-reaching, including when we had that fatal, tragic helicopter crash in Whiteley Bank on August Bank holiday last year. James Potter, I'm sure you'll remind me of mentioning him, is he works for our training standards team here at the Isle of Wight Council. He was the overarching officer in charge of that rescue mission as a CRO, because they were first on site and he is qualified to do that. So he was there directing around the fire brigade, the ambulances and the police to the rescue mission. So first of all, I'd like to pay tribute to all our CROs, and I please ask you to support the motion, which I've kept worded slightly loosely because having to put it so far in advance, I didn't know what time, or what stage that the campaign be in. Currently, if nothing's done, they will lose their remuneration package on the 1st of September, which is why I've asked for this to be bumped up, because it is important. And please, we are asking for your support to help write to the Minister and help create U-turn 29 of this Labour government, and to do something I think are very good, something that as an island we drastically need, and also something countrywide that we drastically need. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. No need to seek a second. Councillor Blake, I shall do that for you. Councillor Jeffrey to speak first, and Councillor Christensen, Claire.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I would like to actually second this motion. I also, the Ventnor Coast Guard is actually in my ward, and I've spoken to them in length about the same problems that this could cause. It could be very detrimental to somebody's life. I mean, if they're not going to actually turn up for a shout, maybe this retainer obviously is very, very, very important to them. I spoke to James as well in depth about the whole situation. I'd just like to say that I fully support it.
Thank you very much, Councillor Jeffries. Claire, Councillor Christensen.
Thank you. I think I want to third it, fourth it. I don't know. I think it was us councillors down the south of the island. We see them in action quite a lot. This is an absolutely essential service that we need to support. We need them paid to do it. They're not just volunteers. They're taking on so much responsibility, and I completely support this. So thank you, Councillor Blake, for bringing it forward.
Thank you, Councillor Christensen. I'll just add that we use them for Armed Forces Day, and the team coordinate what is called the Maritime Exclusion Zone when we've got aircraft. That's a hell of a job. They do it absolutely for free. They are incredibly professional, and we have to abide by various standards imposed by government and military aviation authority and stuff like that. They're incredible. I had a friend that used their services on Monday night off Compton, actually, to rescue. He was out helping and assisting a child in distress, and it all went pear-shaped, and they came literally to the rescue of the RNLI. We live on an island. It's an essential service, and this is a small ask for a massive reward, in my opinion, 100%. I've lost my train of thought now. Who's next? Councillor Wheeler, James and Carl.
Thank you. I can see what the feeling in the chamber is. Currently asked that we move it to a vote, please. Thank you.
Happy to move to the vote, Carl, or just want to put in 2 pence?
I think I need to put in a couple of points.
Go on then.
I'm very brief.
I did offer it to James as well at the end. Sharon.
Yeah, I understand your frustration. I share your frustration as well. So first of all, I need to declare I'm a vice chairman of the RNLI Isle of Wight, one of, as there are others. We're closely associated. It's absolutely critical for an island like ours to maintain this service, and for those people to be properly recompensed, is the word, for their service and commitment, which is largely voluntary, to be fair. That's the first thing. The second thing is they don't just deal with running up and down the coastlines. They do all kinds of things. They've even rescued people previously from the floating bridge and other services. So I wholeheartedly support this. It needs to be, a clear message needs to be sent to government. This is not one of their best moves, and it's not acceptable.
Thank you, Councillor Love. We'll move to the vote on this. All those in favour, please show. Anybody against? And any abstentions? Carried unanimously. Thank you, Councillor Blake.
Thank you. Can I just say one thing? I've got a letter that pre-drafted for the leader that I will send to all members at the same point I send to him, just for clarification, so you know what's getting sent on our behalf. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Blake. We move to agenda item 9B and item 9G in what is a composite motion made by Councillor Bacon, Councillor Kirkby. So, who's going to move this? Is it going to be you, Leader? Councillor Bacon.
Thank you, Chair. We've obviously had some talking about this issue already, so I will keep this brief, but my brevity will be inversely proportionate to the importance of this. I think what I'd like to say, having heard what transpired earlier this evening, is that this is put forward very much acknowledging the petition, very much acknowledging the strength of feeling across the island and indeed in this chamber. You know, a large number of councillors, as well as over 2,500 residents, have expressed no confidence in Southern Water, and I fully understand that. You have in front of you a wording that is actually a combination of my motion and the motion put forward by Councillor Kirkby. If I paraphrase Eric Morecambe, it's all the same words, but not necessarily in the same order. If you've read those two original motions, you have those words. Nothing's been taken out, nothing's been added. It's just put into an order. As we both agree on this, agree on the approach, and I think what has been submitted in those two pieces of writing is complementary, but it is there to have the effect that I hopefully communicated earlier that I think is necessary, namely that we must be able to hold Southern Water's feet to the fire. To do that, we need to develop an evidence base, and we need to work with partners to put us in a position where we can actively challenge them and indeed put them before the relevant regulatory authorities if improvements are not made, if undertakings are not kept to, and if things are not done in time or when they're promised to take place. As I said before, I feel that just calling for steps, supporting steps is not enough. Actively doing what we can, although we're not the regulatory authority ourselves, but doing everything we actively can to put this matter forward, evidence failings, and see action being taken is what this is about. And yeah, I'll keep this brief. What we want to do is force them to do what they should do, and if they don't, get someone else to do it. That is the motion. I will look to Councillor Kirkby to second it, if possible.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Bacon. Just a quick note on it. I'd just like to say that we, as a council, we've listened to Southern Water for years and years and years. We always get what they are going to do to put things right, but it never seems to happen. But now I think this is the correct path for the council and the island to do for its residents due to repeated effects of Southern Water pumping untreated sewage and water through their pumping transfer stations into the water of the Solent, and damage it's doing to the environment and the tourist industry with repeated warnings beaches are unfit to swim off. The Solent is classified as an important special area of conservation because of its complex estuarine habitats, and that put at risk every time they pump untreated water and sewage through their transfer stations, rather than two standard water treatment works or one of the smaller treatment works they've got on the island. We are told every time after the events that they are investing vast amounts of money to stop this happening, but how much longer can the environment and our tourist industry go on before the point of no return? The recent problems they've had at Bembridge with them wanting to renew the outfall at Bembridge shows that they still intend to release untreated sewage water and dirty water from that transfer station for years to come, or they wouldn't be going through the vast expense of trying to renew it. On 2020, Southern Waters had an EP environment performance assessment of 2 stars. The government and Ofwat, meaning they are a company that require serious improvement. We are now halfway through 2026. They are still rated 2 stars. At the stakeholders meeting, their employees did say, when I asked them about their star rating for 2026, they're expecting it to go down to a 1. Pollution incidents are getting more and more common, whether it's special weather conditions or whether it's dry, calm, or no rain at all. And I believe the time now is to draw a line and say no more. The council and the residents of the Isle of Wight repeatedly told by Southern Water, we are sorry, we are going to invest more. Southern Water star rating so far hasn't risen since 2020, unlike their bills out to the residents and the businesses of the Isle of Wight. So now I believe it's time to draw the line and we actually use the stick to sort them out. Thank you.
Sort them out, sir. Good job. Thank you very much, Councillor Kirkby. We will move to the floor now. Before, it was a bit of a speed dating affair with the Southern Water conversation. We've got 18 minutes. So first one is Councillor Jones-Evans, then Councillor Cameron, and then we'll go to Councillor Blake.
Thank you. I didn't speak on the petition because, you know, I support it all, but I also had seen this motion, and that for me gave us the actions that we could take that forward. That's how I viewed it. I think this does give us a clear way forward, and as Leader says, holding the Southern Water to account. But for me, there's only so much we can do as a council. I'm looking to the government to actually step in. I mean, what was it, 1989 when our water was sold off under Margaret Thatcher? 10 regional water companies, their debts written off, and even financial incentives given in. And what's happened since? The money's been sucked out, profits sucked out into private pockets. Absolutely terrible, disgraceful way to use what is an essential of life. Now, I know we're having a new Prime Minister soon, and I know that he's very keen on nationalisation. I think he calls it more control rather than the full package, because that will be very expensive. But I really think essentials of life should be owned by the people. You know, this is keeping us alive, and we see how precious resource it is during this latest heat wave. So that's why I'm supporting this motion, and I thank Councillor Kirkby for his his contributions and fusing the motions together. And I just want to explain that's why I felt I couldn't support the petition, not because I absolutely believe in what we need to do, but it starts with us, but it has to finish with the government.
Thank you very much, Councillor Jones-Evans. Councillor Cameron. Becca.
Hi there. This motion doesn't reflect the strength of feeling of the residents or the House in general. I come back to one central question: can the residents trust Southern Water to fix the underlying problems? The question is not whether Southern Water can produce another plan, another reassurance, or another explanation. The question is whether residents can trust those plans to deliver the improvements they have been promised. Now, I have a broken CSO in Coast Guard Lane. It's been broken for a year. Today, the resident sent me a picture of a tanker emptying that CSO. I've written to Southern Water. They knew about the broken CSO. Why have they not fixed it? Where is the thing that says you have to fix this or else? You know, in the motion, you say reinvesting fines. What fines? They haven't been fined. So the question is, on the latest published environmental agency, I agree with Les, the Southern Water remains a 2-star company, meaning it requires serious improvement. In 24, it would have recorded 269 sewage pollution incidents, including 15 serious incidents. The rating hasn't fallen below 2 stars yet, but I believe it will. This shows the level of this evidence shows that the level of improvement hasn't happened for our island. Southern Water's own 2025 position states that performance remained broadly similar to 2023 and 24, with serious incidents too high. If they know this, why are they not doing something about it? When I asked Southern Water when our antiquated combined sewer system and fresh water will be replaced with separate foul and surface water networks, I was not given a timetable or a funded delivery programme. I was told that separating the system would be too difficult, too expensive, and just too much to do. I accept that this is a complex engineering challenge, but residents are not asking us to pretend it's easy. They're asking for a credible, funded and phased plan that gives them the confidence the problem will be addressed with a fine or something if they don't do it. We've heard improvement plans before in 2021, yet years later, Southern Water is still assessed by the environmental agency as requiring improvement. So that's why our confidence has been lost. We must continue to work with the company, but
thank you very much, Councillor Cameron. I'm going to have to cut you short there because we are going to run out of time and there's another 5 to speak. Councillor Blake, Ed, you're next. Thank you,
Thank you, Chair. Well, it is 1-0 to England. I'm only going to mention things that haven't been mentioned before because I appreciate time. So first of all, just to clarify, there is outrage in the public out there. Southern Water have repeatedly declined to come to meeting requests at this council, and therefore that hasn't helped the situation. There isn't a chance to properly scrutinise them at many opportunities. One thing that this motion doesn't mention, but I'm not going to make a suggestion to amend it, but it doesn't mention the other side of Southern Water's remit, which is the fresh water. The council have recently published the planning application that is going ahead, well, it's planned by Southern Water for the what I term as the sewage sieve in Sandown. Essentially, it's a £300 million project to, in their words, about 6 weeks of the year, when the river levels are low enough in a drought scenario, to sieve through our sewage to turn that into drinking water. And their admission, that doesn't filter out pharmaceuticals, hormones, and some chemicals. This is a £300 million project which could be replaced by a much cheaper option, which is to put in a ring point well around, particularly around my ward, around Ventnor and St Lawrence, which produces more than enough water to not only bring us out of water debt, but also send water back to the mainland where we are currently taking water from the chalk streams. That would have a huge benefit to the rivers in the Hampshire area. Southern Water put in a hose pipe ban last week. This is despite the fact that by the 1st of July, we'd actually had already 75% of the rainfall we would expect in the year in 6 months of the year. They have no way of holding on to precious drinking water and rainwater, which is actually be their priority. It's a lot cheaper to do. And the fact they say that we had 75% of the rain and they're saying it's a drought scenario, that is showing that there's a failing on their part. Lawrence Gosden did come here and he sat in this very room and he said that he would look at things. He said all the things I would want to hear him say, but actions speak louder than words. And I'd like to start seeing Southern Water doing some actions because, as has been said, a lot of words have been said and no action done that we can see towards that aim. So to that, I will commend this motion and vote for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Wight. Councillor Wight, Chris.
Thank you. Right, first off, yes, I agree with what's being put, but none of these motions, the petition or anything, has turned around and said, what can the council do to help Southern Water? It's all about stick, there's no bloody carrot. All right, at the end of the day, we've got planning permission, we've got a planning committee that can halt things going on until there's drainage put in place. We've got a comms team that can ask farmers to put drenching. Right, ask Southern Water what we can do for them. And stop trying to just smack them so they stop talking to us.
Thank you very much, Councillor Wight. Lovely. Councillor Lilly, Michael.
Again, I support this motion because I think that we have got to build on the conversation that we had. And I think we have to talk in a collaborative way with them. Yes, I actually agree with the Councillor Way in the sense we've got to have some carrot, right, on the stick. But we have got evidence where we have cooperated in the past and then they haven't come up. And I use the example of the High Street in Ryde. We're looking for the work on the High Street for years. And then we put it on hold because they wanted to put in a suds to actually collect the water because they viewed that one of the biggest problems in Ryde was all the rainwater going down the High Street, down Union Street and George Street, and actually going into the sewage and side. And they made a big play of that. I've now found out that they basically haven't got the money to do it. They've actually delayed this for nearly a year because of that. So the people of Ryde have got, you know, High Street, which had a promise years ago would actually be done, hadn't done. And now we haven't got a big suds program that actually stops the amount of water going down into our system, because that's a problem. Ryde is on a hill and it floods down over that. In the last 6 months, last year we had about 1,000 discharges in Ryde. In the last 6 months, we've had nearly 1,200. We haven't had a complete year. If you go back to 2019, we only had 20, right? That's the extent of that. So totally we agree, you know, and I did actually vote for the motion on the fact of the trust, but we've got to actually, so we've got to be very, very firm with them. We've got to actually look at Ofwat and what is being recommended to go through. But we also have to say, you've promised things before and you've lied. You've lied to the people of Ryde, and we need to, he committed to me that he would come and have a meeting in the west and the east with residents, as well as coming to speak to councillors. He needs to honour that and face the people.
Thank you, Councillor. I'll echo those elements there, because there's been a lot of talk of sewage and waste, but it's actually prevention too. And the sud schemes have frankly been appalling over here. They promised 800 water butts in Binston. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but each one holds 200 litres. That stops a lot of the rainwater getting into what is an antiquated system, and it essentially slows everything down, getting to the houses, which are now under a very excellent PFR scheme that the council and the EA put together and have offered them protection. It slows it down, but it doesn't resolve it. Out of those 800 houses, they promised the whole lot. We've had 278, and then they just disappeared into the ULU, and we're left there. What are we going to do? We haven't got the Dore meter to fund it. So we are at Southern Water's beck and call. That's another area that needs looking into. And I would hope that we can amalgamate in the same way that Councillor Kirkby's come to it, Councillor Bacon and Councillor Cameron, and pull something perhaps together in the future. That is a really strong piece of wording, and get the MPs, the people that can influence in the House as well. I've taken up a bit of time there. Councillor Whelan, James.
Thank you, Chair. Here's the teeth. Here's the teeth that we need. And I understand what you said about Councillor Blake referenced the freshwater side of things. And I think we covered that a little bit in here with regards to outcomes and things like that. But I think with the minutiae, there's enough scope here to put that in there and making sure that we're bringing that to the committee and bringing that back down to us who are making the decisions. That's all I've got to say on it, because it's 1-0, by the way.
Thank you very much, Councillor Whelan. We are time dependent now, so I'm not going to be able to get to the other two councillors. We're going to need to go to the vote on this to get it and finish off tonight's meeting. Jonathan, do you want to sum up very briefly, please?
I don't think there's anything further to say. I very much hear what Councillor Cameron said, and I think we're actually seeking exactly the same thing. It's just the actions in here are the way to do it, not just saying no confidence, but saying what we do on top of that. And that's what I'm trying to seek here. Can we go to the vote, please?
Thank you, Leader. We will go to the vote. Need four members to support that. Right, we're going to the vote. We've got 4 members to support. 3, 4. There is 4. Okay. Main voter is in the usual manner. The MO will go around the room asking you your voting preferences in alphabetical order. Chris, time. Let's go.
Thank you, Chairman. Councillor Adam.
For.
Councillor Bacon.
For.
Councillor Barry.
For.
Councillor Blake.
For.
Councillor Bauer.
For.
Councillor Brown.
For.
Councillor Cameron.
Abstain. Not strong enough.
Councillor Conlon.
For.
Councillor Christensen.
For.
Councillor Dore.
For.
Councillor Freeman.
For.
Councillor Fuller.
For.
Councillor Garrett.
For.
Councillor Hayward. Gone. Councillor Jarman.
Abstain.
Councillor Jeffries.
Gone.
Gone. Councillor Jones Evans.
For.
Councillor Kirkby.
For.
Councillor Lilly.
For.
Councillor Llewellyn.
For.
Councillor Loke.
For.
Councillor Love.
For.
Councillor Lothian.
For.
Councillor Lucioni. Gone. Councillor Newton.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Nye. Thank you. Councillor PC Wilcox.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Potter.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Price. Gone. Councillor Quinn.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Raff.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Rafferty.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Reynolds.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Rochelle.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Stewart.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Way.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Whelan.
For.
Thank you. And Councillor Williams.
For.
Thank you.
As we tot this up, it's 1-0 at the moment to our advantage. Thank you, members. 32-4. No one against, 2 abstentions. Thank you very much. The other motions are deferred to the next full council meeting, and I declare the meeting closed. Thank you very much.